1.
All right.
That actually worked this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, we got that copyright strike coming in shortly too. So.
you already know.
Oh yeah, we already know.
we take them like champs. So.
That's right.
Welcome everyone to Metalheads Unite, another episode of news and weather and sports. I'm just kidding, no weather and sports,
yeah.
But
weather on the 8s, sports on the 10s, or some shit like that. I don't know. Well, I mean, Christian McCaffrey did get traded to the 49ers this week, so I mean,
Oh yeah, well.
there's your sports report for the week. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're in that division, then I would be kind of worried.
A little bit.
Yeah, as a Notre Dame fan, I hated playing those guys. And that's how he played with Stanford, right? I think.
Yeah. He played for Stanford.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, that he was a beast in college, man.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's kept him from being a beast in the NFL really is just he's been hurt so many times. But well, yeah, actually, yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to think he, not to get off on sports, but he played with the Panthers during the time Cam Newton was quarterback, and so you're not going to get a lot of run time with Cam Newton.
Not really.
So.
Not really.
I mean, these days you might, but not then you didn't. So,
well, yeah. 2022 Cam Newton, sure, but
yeah, man. All right, it gets bad. Well, I mean, a lot to talk about birthday wise this week, but I think we got a lot of news to cover. So,
yeah, definitely not a bad thing.
Cool. A lot of interest. I actually found another story this morning that it was a Randy Blythe talking about something from the past. So I thought it was pretty.
Oh,
pretty
okay,
cool story.
All right.
You know how we like that. We like those stories, man. Like the road stories are the best.
Usually, yeah. Yeah, they usually are. Well, they're definitely always worth hearing, at least anyway. So.
Oh yeah. No,
so yeah, I love those.
Just like we was talking about Dave Mustaine a couple weeks ago, talking about that if he did anything he regretted, he's like, yeah, punching James Hetfield in the face. You're like, wait, what?
It's like, yeah, I know.
we knew that. We knew there was a lot of turmoil there, but we didn't never know that.
Yeah. There's a physical altercation,
physicality going on. Like, wow.
Yeah. So basically, Fear Factory. So
it was crazy. It never got.
Sorry, I was just going to say. So basically, Fear Factory ripped off Metallica. So.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it's just like it's crazy because like I said, I mean, there's no telling. We've talked about this. We're not telling how many of those stories are out there because you got to ask the right question to get those stories to come out. So if you just go in as Metallica, you just go in and you keep telling the same Cliff Burton and load and reload stories that it's just the same old repetitive nonsense. The Napster stuff. We know about all that already. So I don't know why like certain outlets tend to want to like dwell on stories we already know.
Right.
Just ask them. Say, any store. You know what? I think I'm going to have to swap because I don't think I didn't. I didn't change my damn internet back over.
Well, yeah, I mean, you had a lot of things. I mean, you had quite a few things you were trying to juggle and get all straightened up before we went on the air. So,
right. You mean just a second? I don't want to be doing this and then get cut off in the middle. So just a second.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. Hey. Yep.
So hopefully I'm good now. So change it before it kicks me out. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it was crazy because I got a printer and I've never been able to like swap the new internet over to my printer. For some reason, when you set it up, it's like it was just set up. So I put in there and try to look at like settings and changes and or whatever to change it over, and I never could find anything. So I'm just like, well, great. Guess I'm just stuck with both internets. So that's kind of what I do. I work off of one to print and stuff, and then the other is to. I mean, don't get me wrong; it's good to have a backup, but.
Well, sure, but when it starts affecting things like.
Well, yeah. So
starts affecting your productivity, it can get kind of frustrating.
so there's. All right. Well, I guess we will kick off this show like normal here with a few birthdays. Not a lot going on birthday wise this week. So, of course, I only have 1 week, not two. So.
Well, that definitely helps. That helps.
So maybe it just seemed like a long list last week because it was 2 weeks. But,
right.
Anyway, we'll kick this thing off. October 16th, we had Tony Carey, a keyboardist and songwriter for Rainbow. Of course, Chad Gray, vocalist for Hell Yeah and Mudvayne. Hopefully, he is doing a lot better than the last time I seen him. Poor guy. October 17th, we had Alan West, the guitarist for Obituary and South Wicked, and it was also Batman. I'm just kidding, it was not. But, we have Marcella Bovio, vocalist and violinist for Stream of Passion and Mayans, or Mayans, I guess. Then Michael McKean, vocalist and guitarist for Spinal Tap, and Chris Motionless, vocalist for Motionless in White. And then we skip over to October 19th. We had Joe Duplantier, guitarist and vocalist for Gojira. Gojira.
Gojira.
And then we had Pete Loeffler, a guitarist and vocalist for Chevelle. And then we had Henry Trollhorn Sorbali, guitarist for Moon Sorrow. And October 20th, we have Fred Curry, drummer for Cinderella. And then we have Mitch Lucker, vocalist for Suicide Silence. And he unfortunately passed away in 2012. And not in a way you might think. He was actually a motorbike accident. So,
damn.
Yeah. So, with rock stars, you automatically think the worst. But
usually.
He was actually took out on a motorcycle, unfortunately. So, October 21st, we had Nick. I'm going to say this is Oliveri, maybe. Singing vocalist and guitarist for Caius. Then October 22nd, we have Bobby Blotzer, drummer for Rat. So not a lot of birthdays. I mean, not that I could find anyway. I mean, there could be more out there that just wasn't. Wasn't noted. But happy birthday to those. And if I forgot anybody, happy birthday to you. And like always, if anybody out there listening had a birthday this week, happy birthday to you. Hope it was well.
Yep. I actually have a couple birthdays on my end today. My sister and my stepson Ethan they both have their birthday is today. So
cool.
Well, so I got to call my sister later, and then we're going out to do some things this afternoon after the show for Ethan's birthday. So we're gonna be having quite a full day, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. So. Yep, same here. We already got the tickets to go see Black Adam after this. So
see, there you go.
There you go. So go ahead and watch it before anybody spoils it on the internet.
Right. That'll definitely work.
Yeah. All right, I guess we can kick into some news of the week.
Yes, sir. All right. It's kind of an interesting week this week. I know you and I have talked about it a couple times.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't gone into a whole lot of great detail, but it's the carousel just keeps going around and around and around here. So let's see, what band should we talk about first? Let's see. Well, let's just start with I think this was the first one that I had found earlier in the week. So we'll start over at blabbermouth.net. Florida death metal veterans Malevolent Creation have recruited Darren Miller as their new frontman. Best known as the former lead vocalist and rhythm guitarist of rock band CKY, which he co-founded in 1998. Miller also fronts the progressive metal band Foreign Objects, the melodic death metal group World Under Blood, and the rock band 96 Bitter Beings. Malevolent Creation's founding guitarist Philip Fasciana announced Miller's addition to the band in a social media post on Wednesday, October 18th. He wrote, quote, "New frontman for Malevolent Creation is no other than Darren Miller, ex-CKY, World Under Blood, and after hearing his cover song of Alliance or War on the World Under Blood album, you will understand. Album is in the works now. Go to plastichead.com for all your Malevolent Creation merchandise. It's fucking on," end quote. 2.5 years ago, Malevolent Creation parted ways with drummer Phil Cancilla and vocalist guitarist Lee Wallenschlager and replaced them with Ronnie Palmer and Ryan Taylor, respectively. It's not clear when Taylor exited Malevolent Creation. Malevolent Creation's latest album, The 13th Beast, was released in January 2019 via Century Media. It was the band's sole disc to feature Cancilla and Wallenschlager. Former Malevolent Creation frontman Brett Hoffman died in July of 2018 after a battle with stage 4 colon cancer. He was only 51 years old. Brett performed on the first 3 Malevolent Creation releases until he left the band after 1993's Stillborn album. 5 years later, he returned and performed on The Fine Art of Murder and Envenomed before leaving again, being replaced by Kyle Simons. He rejoined Malevolent again in 2006 and appeared on 3 more of the group's albums, 2007's Doomsday X, 2010's Invidious Dominion, and 2015's Dead Man's Path. He exited the group once again in 2016 and was replaced by Wallenschlager. So not only does this band have another new frontman, I mean the revolving door of members coming in and out of this band has really been spinning. So I guess yet another chapter,
right?
in Malevolent Creation's lineup here. So
yeah. It's kind of sad too. It's like we were talking about this last week with the album review. It's like I didn't care much for the new album that was out, but I went back and listened to the back catalog and loved it. So you kind of like get into that situation when you're, especially with lead vocalists, when you're revolving them in and out, is you get like a different sound than what you're used to. So and then like I said, it was probably one of those issues where they were playing to his strengths vocally and then changing their sound up from what they used to be too. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not always a bad thing, but 9 times out of 10, it's usually I don't want to say it's a step back for a band because I don't think that at all. But I think it's like you get like a core group of people and fans that are used to that sound, and then they're not going to care for anything newer. But I hear this all the time from a friend of ours, and she's like, "Oh no, I just like their old stuff." It's like, right. I'm like, okay, whatever. But and like I said, that's with bands that haven't really changed anything too. So so that's like I said, you pretty much roll the dice when you're doing stuff like that. So I couldn't I try to put myself into some of these stories and just like I don't know if I could make a decision like that. You know what I'm saying? Like. As being putting yourself in a situation where you got to make a decision on replacing somebody, and you would I think especially with me, how I am, I would probably question that all the time. Say, oh, did I make the right choice? It's kind of one of those things where you, as a band, you can't dwell on it. You just have to move forward, or you're just going to be, left in somebody's memory. So,
yeah. Well, I think what can end up like you were just talking about, you questioning decisions. I think, especially when you're put in a situation where a member like leaves on his own, like for whatever reason, because I know there's been a lot of stories here lately we reported where, members have left to kind of like take a step back because like, I need to get my head right or just whatever, so when a band member feels that he needs to leave for whatever reason, and I think that kind of puts a band in a more difficult situation. Well, it can anyway, but I don't want to make an all-encompassing statement, but I think it can kind of put a band in a more difficult situation than, like, say, like when, even back in the day, way back in the day when Metallica fired Dave Mustaine. I mean, they felt like, they had to make that decision. They felt like Dave put them in the situation where they had no other choice but to fire him. It wasn't like Dave one day is like, you know what, I'm just gonna take off and I'm gonna go form Megadeth on my own. He formed Megadeth after he got fired, from Metallica. Like you say, we all know the story, but it's one thing. It's one thing where it would have been different, like if Dave would have been like, this band is kind of holding me back or some shit like that, and I'm going to go off and I'm going to see if I can like form my own band and make a go of it. But that's not how it happened. So I think when a band feels like they have no other choice than to get rid of somebody, I think sometimes the band might think, we feel better about it because we feel like we were painted into a corner. Now we can find somebody else who will fit and we can move on. So, but I think it kind of makes it a little bit more difficult when a member leaves, because then they're like, all right, what do we do now? And then, like you said, how are we going to sound? Like, depending on if it was like the vocalist, because Exodus comes to mind when I think of that, because Steve Souza was in the band, and then he was gone for a while when Rob Dukes came along. And as far as I'm concerned, Exodus sounded a lot different with Rob Dukes than they did with Steve Souza. Not to say that they sounded bad or anything, but Steve Souza's got one of those voices that you would recognize right away. So when he left and Rob Dukes came in, they sounded a lot different, even though, I mean, musically there really wasn't much of a drop off, but just that one change, the vocalist, of course, the vocalist is pretty damn important anyway, because you can still basically tune the guitars the same and all that other shit. We know all that, but then when Steve Souza came back, it was, for a lot of people, I'm like, that's Exodus. No disrespect to Rob Dukes at all, of course, but like I say, he doesn't have the same voice that Steve Souza has, and no, and obviously no disrespect to Paul Bailoff, but I mean, he was, because he wasn't in the band nearly long enough to establish,
a sound,
a sound. So, I'm sure like 98 or 99 people out of 100 would be like, hey, yeah, Steve Souza is Exodus as far as vocals are concerned. So, but not to blather on, but I'm kind of like on the same page as you are, that sometimes the decision gets made for you and sometimes you have to make the decision. And when you end up questioning things, like you say, you could second guess yourself to death, and then you could put yourself in a situation where it just kind of bites you in the ass anyway.
Right. Well, we talked to one of the last, that kind of come to mind when you was talking about that, how he was like, oh, I think it was the bass player that they said I don't know if he left on his own or what happened, but
yeah, I don't remember the story behind
I do remember John saying something about some band member at some point they had to let go because they weren't as committed to the band as they were. So it's like you got somebody in the band that's not as committed as the rest of the band, then of course it's not going to work. So I mean, you have to be, it has to be a team effort and putting everything together. So so good morning, Facebook user. I'm guessing that sounds like from the looks of it, looks like Victor, but
it's Victor.
When he said long live the rock and metal, I was like, that's gotta be Victor.
That's Victor. Yeah. Good morning, Victor. Good to see you, buddy.
And then if you got any more of those bands you want to pass along during the show, do so. I actually listened to a few of those, and I think I picked out about 5 that I was cool. I was like, oh, this is really good. There's a couple of them. There was a couple of them. I mean, like I said, we all have different tastes, so no disrespect to any of the bands. It was just like some of it was just okay to me, but there was about 5 bands I put into the playlist this week. So
yeah, I didn't get quite as far into Victor's list that I had planned to, but I did listen to Contra Cara. I listened to them and their album 1307. I listened to that all the way through. That was really good. Of course, it was all in Spanish, so
I know it's like
there wasn't a whole lot of it that I understood, but my Spanish is spotty.
It's like that we talked about this before. It's like we have those German bands that we love too.
Oh yeah,
that we don't know shit that they're saying, but
not really.
Like, it's so fucking good. Like Null Positive and of course a lot of Rammstein stuff.
Rammstein,
it's like
so the Spanish definitely wasn't a deal breaker, but I mean, it's like. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Contra Cara, they had a really good sound, and then there was another band I started listening to Metal Crucifier. I don't remember what album it was that I was listening to, but I only got about halfway through it, so I'm still working on listening to Metal Crucifier. So.
I'll listen to some of their stuff too. I like their stuff. So
yeah,
and shout out to Victor's nephew's band, Knuckles Revenge. I think that was one of my favorites out of the list he gave me.
Yeah,
so
I still have to.
I was like, dude, they're badass, dude. So
yeah, I still have to get to that album too. So like I said, I was listening to Metal Crucifier, and I got about halfway through. So, but Metal Crucifier, they got a cool, like, just old school thrash sound to them, which is obviously kind of right up our alley. But yeah,
right.
But yeah, a lot of, I mean, again, man, I mean, we've talked about it, I don't know, quite a few times on this show about just how worldwide heavy metal is, man.
Yeah. I haven't had this conversation with some people that were more along, like a Tom Petty listening type people last night. I went to a Halloween party last night. We were talking about stuff like this, and they were like, oh, and she even said, she's like, I'm a rock fan, but I'm not like a hard rock heavy metal fan. She said, but I will say this, like, they have the best fans. Like, she even recognized that they had the best fans. She was like, they do have the best fans and the best following. So it's not just coming from metal fans. Other people from other that like other genres notice this too. So it's not just something we like to say because we like to think of it as being true. It is true. I mean, it's facts. I mean, people notice it all the time. And I actually had a lady that was a country. She was a country. She cared, country fan. So she was like cutting my hair yesterday, and we were talking about the same thing. And she said, "Oh, what's it about?" Talking about the podcast, and I was telling her, and she says, "Oh, cool." She said, "Yeah." She said, "Those fans tend to stick with their genre of music pretty tight." And I said, "Yeah." So, like I said, if they hear that twice in a week, weekend is kind of odd. But
well, like you said, especially for people
genres,
right, yeah.
But it just shows you that it's not just something that we like to say. I mean, it is actually
right.
It's factual. So
we're not just blowing smoke. At least not about that. We're not blowing smoke.
Well, no, yeah, we're blowing smoke about that. That's all right. I guess we get back to on target here.
We probably should. Yeah.
This one over from Metal Hammer. You know how I love my Iron Maiden game. So Avenged Sevenfold's Death Bat mascot featured as a new character in Iron Maiden's Legacy of the Beast mobile game. The 3 Death Bats chosen by the Avenged Sevenfold Death Bats fan club appear in Maiden's game, which can be downloaded. In the game, players can battle as Iron Maiden mascot Eddie in his many forms across worlds inspired by the band's imagery and music. The collaboration comes after a Death Bats Club competition, which saw 3 fans have their bats chosen to appear in the game. Vince Sevenfold frontman M. Shadows says it's important to us to continue to bring exclusive, unique opportunities to our Death Bats Club members. So when Iron Maiden and Navigator Games reached out, we were stoked to work with them on a unique concept for Legacy of the Beast. What a cool experience. The Death Bats appear in a level of the game inspired by the TV show Carnival. I don't know. The A's got like an asterisk over it, so I'm not sure. The game's official website describes the characters as bringing a world of misery to all those who stand in their way. They become stronger with an enemy when an enemy bleeds, enhancing their attacks and unlocking new effects. Maiden previously collaborated with Five Finger Death Punch, with Indentation, Amon Amarth, Lacuna Coil, and others for the game. Legacy of the Beast is created by Navigator Games. CEO Will Moore says, this year we have had an incredible caliber of in-game collaborations, and we wanted to create something really special for Halloween, so we invited M Shadows to develop the concept with us, and as a result was the Nightmare Carnival. The collab delivers a whole new level of innovation as Eddie battles with 3 enemies inspired by Avenged Sevenfold's Death Bats. So, excuse me. So there you have it. Just another cool collaboration there for the Legacy of the Beast game. Seems like we talk about that every other month or so. So
yeah, I was about to say like at least once a month. It seems like there's something being expanded on that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still haven't yet to download and play that, but I haven't. It sounds pretty cool. So
yeah. And what I like is it really like if you don't really pay attention, you realize like how many of these metal bands have like these iconic mascots.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's just you're like, oh shit, I forgot about that one. You know, and they working together, bring them all together as characters in this game. So,
well, maybe it'll go on. Maybe it'll go on long enough to have like a Devil's, mascot to get in there or something. So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. That would be neat. All right, let's see. Staying over at
what they say they called it, Chester the Jester or something. Lester, wasn't it?
Lester. That's what it was. Lester. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say I'm going to kick myself for not remembering the name of it, but
yeah, they probably will too if they're listening. Hey, motherfucker!
I was about to say we're gonna get
get hate mail, get hate mail from Devil,
or a sternly worded comment in the comment section here in just a second. Yeah, like they're gonna be like, Kevin's not very happy with you right now.
Right. At this point, we're not sure Kevin's even real. So.
Yeah, it sounds made up. So. All right, staying over at Blabbermouth. I Am Morbid, the band featuring former Morbid Angel members David Vincent and Pedro Pete Sandoval, has parted ways with guitarist Kelly McLaughlin and replaced him with Richie Brown from Ex Mortis, The Absence, and Trivium. Brown made his live debut with I Am Morbid, which also includes guitarist Bill Hudson, Sunday night, October 16th at the Grita Fest in Colombia. Fan film video of the concert can be seen below, which you'll have to go find that yourself. I Am Morbid's Spring 2022 European tour marked the first time Sandoval and Vincent played together in 12 years. Sandoval, who now lives his life as a born-again Christian, was forced to leave Morbid Angel in 2010 after undergoing surgery for a prolapsed disc. Vincent told Invisible Oranges in a December 2013 interview that Pete had, quote-unquote, found Jesus, which meant that Sandoval and Morbid Angel were no longer compatible. Sandoval has passed the last few years recording and touring with Terrorizer, whose latest studio album, Caustic Attack, was released in October 2018 via The End Records. More than a year ago, Sandoval released an Instagram video in which he addressed some of the most commonly asked questions regarding his time with Morbid Angel. He said, quote, I've been asked about who's my favorite singer or which era is my favorite one, the era with David Vincent or with Steve Tucker. Well, I want to tell you that I love both eras. I had fun. I had a great time working with David Vincent, and I had a great time working with Steve Tucker as well. So from Altars of Madness in 1989 to Heretic in 2003, they're all masterpieces for me. We worked hard on those albums, so I'm telling you my answer that I don't have a favorite album, I don't have a favorite era, I don't have a favorite singer. I love them all. I had a great time in both eras and with every album. And as far as the album released in 2011, referring to Morbid Angel's controversial Illud Divinum Insanus LP, please don't ask me any questions about it because I have no comments about it. No comments at all, man. I stay what I am. I did what I did, and I am so happy and grateful that I did what I did with these guys, end quote. In a 2011 email chat with Brazil's Som Extremo, Sandoval was asked for his opinion on Illud Divinum Insanus, which incorporated industrial and electronic elements into Morbid Angel traditional death metal sound. No comment. I don't play on that album, he wrote. He was then questioned about what he thought he would have done different on Illud Divinum Insanus had he played on the record. More extreme death grind metal and less DJ, boring, awful, typical, I care less, industrial, experimental, same as everybody, boring bullshit, he said. This is not what Morbid has been about, and I really care less. So, yikes. Vincent left Morbid Angel in 2015. He has since been replaced by a returning Steve Tucker, who previously handled bass and vocals on Morbid Angel's Formulas, Fatal to the Flesh, Gateways to Annihilation, and Heretic LPs. In a May 2019 interview with Jorge Botas of Metal Global Radio Show, which airs on the Portuguese public TV and radio broadcaster RTP, Vincent said that he had every right to perform Morbid Angel's classic songs with I Am Morbid, which I don't have a problem with that at all, so it is what it is. But I guess there's a little bit of a sore spot there about that one album. So I guess if we ever have them on the show, we'll know not to ask them about that one.
Right? Yeah. If only we were that lucky. So.
Yeah. Hey, never say never, man. Never say never.
Well, that is true. All right, I'm going to stick with Metal Hammer here. We all know that sinking feeling when you get to a deadline that is looming and you realize you've done absolutely nothing to hit it. I'm sure we've all been there. Turns out Zakk Wylde may be feeling this way as well. So the Black Label Society guitarist is due to play his first show as part of the controversial Pantera reunion in December, but he recently fessed up to the fact that he hasn't learned any of Dimebag Darrell's parts yet. So I don't know how to play any of the songs. Zakk told the SDR show if Dime had to play the Ozzy solo songs on No More Tears or Mama I'm Coming Home and Miracle Man and Perry Mason and played Black Label Society Suicide Messiah, he'd be like, you must know Zakk's stuff. He would be like, no, I don't know any of his stuff. Zakk's my buddy, but no, I don't know any of his stuff. Well, sure thing, Zakk. Listen, we know you're a great guitarist and that you are big buddies with Dime. But given those shows are less than 2 months away, you might want to think about pulling your thumb out of your arse and getting on with it.
Good advice.
The reunited Pantera featuring Phil Anselmo, Rex Brown on bass, alongside Zakk and Anthrax drummer Charlie Benante, played their first show on December 2nd at the Hell in Heaven Open Air Festival in Mexico City. The reunion has attracted a lot of controversy from metal fans due to it taking place after the deaths of Dimebag and brother Pantera drummer Vinnie Paul, as well as the historical racist controversies caused by Phil Anselmo, which that if I knew that was in there, I probably would have left that out, but whatever. It's just stupid. But anyway, the main focus here was Zakk Wylde. Let's go into all that other bullshit. Why don't we, Metal Hammer?
Again, that's one of our pet peeves. It's like, well,
stick to the fucking story, man. Like,
focus on the story. You want to talk about that other stuff? Have it be another headline, and if we want to read that, if we want to read the story under that headline, we'll read it. But
plus, who cares? But who cares about controversies that happened in 2004 any fucking way? I mean, 18 years ago. I don't know how long it's been, but I haven't heard. It's been a minute. I know.
It's been more than long enough.
Yeah. So let's let the guy dwell on some shit that he made a mistake on. 18 years ago. So or was probably taken out of context to begin with. You know how that goes. So
right.
But anyway, so the fact is, Zakk Wylde probably should get into gear trying to learn some shit.
Considering you got about 6 weeks until your first performance, you better start doing something.
And I mean, this isn't I don't think this is something that Phil and them would take lightly either. I mean, they handpicked you guys for reasons. So
Yes, and the funny thing, I mean, we read the stories talking about how Charlie Benante is like, you're gonna close your eyes and the drums are gonna sound just like Vinnie Paul. So I mean, Charlie Benante is not
he's obviously been working. So I mean,
Charlie Benante has not been half-assing this, so.
Yes, I don't know what's going on with Zakk, but hopefully he gets his shit in gear and it turns out to be a great show, because I really do want this thing to be good for the fact that you had people that are metal fans now that were born after the fact that Pantera broke up. So it's like they've never had a chance to hear any of this stuff live. So so they there needs to be something there for the fans now that want to see it. So
there does. And the funny thing is, I I know you just read this story, but I still have. I just thought of this. I have a hard time believing he doesn't know any of it.
Exactly.
He doesn't know any of it.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't know like one riff to one Pantera song. He doesn't know any of it. I have a hard time believing that. But still at the same time, you got 6 weeks. You better make sure you have that shit down before you get up there on stage. So
Right.
I still have a hard time believing he doesn't know one single note of any Pantera songs, especially being as close as they were. But still, does he know it good enough to get out there and just play it in front of thousands of people? It doesn't sound like he does. So yeah, you better get to practicing, Zach, man.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't do that shit to Ozzy. Don't do it to Dime. So
right. If you got so much, you got the respect that you say you do, then that's the thing. Like, you kind of disrespecting a legacy right now. So
yeah, definitely don't fuck this up, Zach. Don't do it. Don't give all the naysayers a reason to be like, see, fucking told you.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah. So get up there on stage, do what we all know you can do, make this thing happen the way that the two of us think that it'll happen. Give a figurative and a little literal middle finger to all the people who are shitting all over this, so.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, kind of got up on a little bit of a soapbox there for a second, but
well, I knew it was going to when I read it, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a conversational piece. So.
But I mean, we want it to be as good as we know it can be. That's the thing.
Right.
That's all we want.
It's not going to be perfect. We know that. I mean, it's because you don't have, Vinny and Dime.
You don't have the right. And as far as the two of us go, we've never been under any delusions thinking that this is a full-fledged Pantera reunion. And we've even said that before. We said that when the news first came out, that labeling it as a reunion was probably a misnomer. They probably should have called it like a tribute or whatever, but reunion is kind of, it's misleading. So, but at the same time,
the thing is like the first interview I seen with Phil, he never mentioned either one of those. He never mentioned reunion or anything. He never mentioned, or a memorial. He didn't mention any of that. He just said the same thing I said, is he wants this generation of fans that have listened to Pantera. And I think that's what got him, is like he actually talked to somebody that was in that age group and said, oh, it'd be cool to hear that live. And he was just like, I never thought that, there's people in an age group that's never heard these Pantera songs live. So, and I think that's what got him was, oh, well, we should do something to get back together. We can't be perfect, but we can at least give them, to hear the songs live. So,
And I tell you one thing, I hope Phil's doing his due diligence to make sure he's going to be able to pull off some of these.
Oh, he sounded great, back at Blue Ridge when he was with Down. So
well, good.
Like I said, they didn't do any Pantera stuff, but he still sounded, pretty good as far as Down goes. So I think he'll be fine. So
yeah, good, because I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, same.
I know why you're looking forward to it. I know why you're looking forward to it, because you didn't get the chance to see him, and even though I did, I'm still dying to see them again. I don't care. I haven't heard Walk live in 20 years. So I mean,
well, I was lucky enough that I seen Phil and Selma with the Illegals, and they did a whole set of Pantera. They didn't do any of their own stuff. It was all Pantera. I think it was the anniversary for Vulgar or something, and so they were doing that, and it sounded great. I mean, the guitars for the Illegals is pretty damn good too. So, which kind of got me. It's like, why would you not just get people that already have been playing the songs that know them?
Well, yeah, I kind of get that. I definitely do, but
it's more like it feels more like a super group at this point.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And it kind of got a, I guess he kind of feels like he could have kind of a Hell Yeah feel, I guess, being that Hell Yeah was, initially a super group. So,
Well, I mean, it definitely didn't hurt to go out and get the two guys that they got, because it was like a home run swing, to go out and get those
right.
names. Because like if you're gonna do this and you're gonna call it Pantera, which like we said before, they have no reason not to, because they were in the band forever. So,
Right.
but if you're gonna attach that name to it, then go out and get names that people are going to know. So that's what I'm saying. They made two huge splashes. Okay, Pantera's coming back, and these are the guys that we went and got to help to try to fill the roles of the two guys who are no longer around. Because there's no replacing those two guys. But you go out and you get a couple of guys who hopefully, fingers crossed, as far as Zach Wild goes at this point, who are going to take it as serious as the original guys did, and will do it with respect. So,
but the thing is you look at, so you could take, not to be dwelling on Metallica all day, but you can go back to when Newsted left Metallica. I mean, they did auditions for that, and Rob Trujillo won that part, and he did it from his work ethic. I mean, he didn't do it because, and he knows, and he knew some Metallica songs, of course, but he did it out of what he knew and how he played. It wasn't really anything to do with, what he did or didn't know as far as Metallica. So I kind of feel like that's kind of the same thing here, is you're going after people that they know can play,
right?
But they're not sure like how, Of course, the thing is too, like everybody takes a different time frame to learn things. So I'm sure it's harder to learn things. Honestly, I think it's harder to learn things on drums than it would be guitar to me. Like, but like I said, I'm neither drummer or guitar, so but it just seemed like it would be a lot more difficult to learn a drumming part than it would a guitar part. But
yeah, that's what was so amazing about the drummer that Testament got to cover for Dave Lombardo when he was gone. I mean, I couldn't imagine him having to do that on. I don't even know how much notice he got before he had to fly out and start playing shows. And
well, I thought he said a couple of weeks. I thought
was it okay?
I think that's what they said. Said he learned all this in a couple of weeks. I'm like, damn.
Okay.
So
that's even still pretty impressive, because I thought he had less time than that.
He may have. I just thought they said. Maybe they said within the last week or something. They did say something about a week.
Yeah,
so it was at least a week.
Yeah, because I mean, Chuck Billy was and rightfully so singing dude's praises, and it was. Yeah. He did a hell of a job.
And what's so bad is Chuck fucked up more than that guy did. So
right.
But that just proves to show that we're all human. So
we're all human.
Chuck was in good spirits about it too. So
they were all they were all laughing about it.
He's like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. They were all laughing about it. And the fucked up thing is, I guarantee that's a song that I guarantee you Chuck Billy has sang thousands of times.
Oh, well, hell yeah.
Because it was Into the Pit. That's one of their earliest songs.
Right,
so, I mean, he's probably sang that song. God damn! No, who knows how many times he sang that song?
What's amazing is like, I don't know if you just seen where Judas Priest sang a song that they haven't sang in like 20 something years at one of their live shows. I'm just like, wow, how hard would that be to try to pick up, and especially because you don't have the same band either that you had 20 years ago. So it's like, how do you pick up?
Richie Faulkner definitely wasn't around the last time they.
Yeah.
Well, he was alive, but he wasn't in the band. He definitely wasn't in the band the last time. So I mean. Yeah. Of course, we all know. Of course, hell, we all know by now. Richie Faulkner can fucking play Painkiller with his heart exploding. So I mean,
right? Yeah, right. When you say he puts his heart into his music, he don't play around. So
no kidding, man. Jesus, you're not even kidding.
Yeah, I really do hope he's well though, because I mean that's
he seems to be doing fine. He seems to be.
Well, I know he just had that other procedure done, so hopefully that straightened him out. So
yeah.
All right, I guess we better get back into the swing here. I don't even remember whose turn it was.
I think it's yours. I was talking about I Am Morbid, so I think it's your turn.
Okay. No, I thought we was talking about Zach Wild.
Oh, yep. See, yep, that's what it was. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. See, we get
Yeah.
we get off on these tangents and we lose our place. All right. Okay. All right. Going over to the PRP for a few here. Technical death metal outfit Rivers of Nile have announced their co-founding lead vocalist Jake Diefenbach has left. They left that part out in the story. He's no longer in the band.
Right.
a statement issued by the band on October 20th can be read below. Quote, "We would like to inform our fans and colleagues alike that we've parted ways with Jake Diefenbach. Jake was a founding member of Rivers of Nile and our friend and brother beyond the scope of the band. While this decision wasn't easy, it was necessary." See, we just talked about that a little bit ago.
Yeah.
"We ask our friends and fans to allow Jake the space to handle his affairs and with dignity and privacy. The creative core of Rivers of Nile is still intact. Brody and Biggs will continue to be the main architects of the music and lyrics as they have been from the start. Jared has been with us for 5 years and 2 albums already, and we've known Andy for so long it feels like he's been in the band forever. To that end, rather than bringing in anyone new, Biggs will be taking over lead vocals on the upcoming European UK Faces of Death tour, the recently announced Northeast US dates with Killswitch Engage and beyond, as he did on the second half of our recent North American tour with The Contortionist, in addition to continuing his duties on bass. Beyond touring, we have some exciting releases planned for the near future as well. Stay tuned for those announcements soon." So, and then the aforementioned, tour dates that he just mentioned. We've talked about those in the Hit in the Road segment before, but they're
I got some of them for the Hit in the Road segment this week too.
So we'll talk about that later. But
yeah, I do.
But it's just like we were talking about a little bit ago. We don't know the reason why Jake Diefenbach is gone, but apparently the rest of the band made the decision that he needs to kind of, do what he needs to do. So before they got themselves painted into a corner where it started to, adversely affect the band, it came down to us like, well, it's either the rest of the band or it's Jake. So, Jake's going to have to be the one to go. So
if it comes down to a bunch of guys against one, I guess, you can kind of guess who's going to take the fall.
Right. Yeah. So, well, whatever Jake's got going on, like you say, hopefully he can get it all straightened out. And who knows, this may not even be forever because they've decided to not even really replace him. Someone's just in the band. They're going to be moving forward as a 4-piece. So maybe somewhere down the road, the door will still be open for him to come back. So maybe it's just one of those situations where it's just be better.
It could be exactly why they did it that way, to make
could
sure
be
that door is open before they have to make a decision to replace him. So
yeah, could be. So we never really know for sure, but just for the good of the band, they made the decision, and hopefully Jake can take care of whatever it is he needs to take care of. So we're not even going to try to speculate, but so just hopefully he gets back on the path he needs to get on, whatever that path may be. So.
The path of righteousness.
That's right. Y'all need Jesus.
Yeah. All right. My next one is still at Metal Hammer here. Metal Hammer had a lot of my stories this week, so
nothing wrong with that.
No, it's always good to get most of them from one spot. Might as well, right? But going into the collectible area here, I love my collectibles. So
oh yeah,
I'll always love these stories. But collectibles company Knucklebones have unveiled a limited edition, officially licensed set of Black Sabbath statues. The 4 figurines represent the band as they appeared during the Sabotage era. God damn, I can't read. Although thankfully not as they appeared on the actual cover of the album, when the band were famously photographed during what was believed was a test shoot, and drummer Bill Ward can be seen wearing a pair of his wife's tights. Bill was a special guy.
Yeah, he was.
Hey, set my beard on fire. Let me wear my wife's tights while you do it.
Yeah.
The statues are available as a limited edition of 3,000. Each figure is die cast and hand painted and comes with a unique number and a certificate of authenticity on the base. The retail price of the set is $666. Imagine that. Although pre-orders from the Knucklebones website are available at a discounted price of $599, it's expected that orders will ship in early 2023. It was so surreal putting Sabbath on our lighted stage that we used here in the studio for the promo video shoot, says Tony Zimmerman, the CEO and creative director of Knucklebones. It was like watching Don Kirshner's rock concert in 1975. We all got chills. Due to the sheer magnitude and importance of Black Sabbath, these figures will only be sold together as a complete set, added the company. The Black Sabbath set is the latest as in a long line of collectibles from Knucklebones Rock Icons range, which also includes Metallica's Door statue of Lady Justice and multiple Cardinals from the world of Ghost. Current pre-orders include the statue of Thin Lizzy frontman Phil Lynott and a 1/9 scale 8.5-inch statue tall of the late Metallic bassist Cliff Burton, which I think we talked about that on here a while back when they had that out. So Knucklebones putting out some pretty cool pieces there. They are a little expensive because they only do a limited edition. So,
but they look great too.
They do look, yeah, they did look good. So,
yeah, they look great. Talking about doing things with respect. That Knucklebones company does an amazing job.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually picked up a figure. I was at GameStop yesterday and actually picked up a Loki figure that looked just like, dead on to the movie Loki. I'm just like, wow, this is unreal. Like, usually don't get that good of a detail in action figures. So that's usually what I look for. I look at the detail more than I do what they are. And of course, unless it's a Pops figure, because there ain't no detail with that at all. But
those are all caricatures anyway. So
but yeah, if I can get up here, like I got the Witcher 3, I got that action figure too. It's it's pretty dead on to the video game. So you get stuff like that that's pretty realistic. It's pretty cool to have on hand. So
yeah,
more like conversation pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, another one over at the PRP. Bay Area thrash metal band Violence have announced that they have parted ways with guitarist Bobby Gustafson. The group outlined his departure in a statement on October 20th. It reads as follows, quote, Violence and Bobby Gustafson have agreed to part ways effective immediately. The band cites logistical difficulties that weigh too heavy to function in a productive manner. Remaining members all thank Bobby for his time in the band. With his VIO efforts, we wish him the very best, end quote. Gustafson joined the band back in 2020, taking on the rhythm guitar duties in the band until his departure. So short and sweet and to the point, I guess. I'm all for, respecting everyone's privacy and all that stuff. But this one I'm kind of hoping to hear maybe a little bit more about. I don't know about in super great detail, but I mean that it seems like an awfully vague explanation.
Right. I was about to say it's kind of vague.
Yeah. So I don't know. This one kind of intrigues me more than the others because you kind of you're able to kind of garner a little bit of context with some of these sometimes, but this one I really have no idea what the issue could have been. So,
well, like I said, hopefully they'll update the story and we can report on that when they.
Yeah. So I mean, if we do hear it, obviously, if we do hear anything else, we'll follow up and let you guys know. So.
All right, I'm gonna switch over to Blabbermouth for this one here. Just in time for Halloween, O'Maze has teamed up with Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee and Grammy-winning singer and songwriter Ozzy Osbourne and Speedcore Performance Group to give away a custom Dodge Demon to one lucky customer while supporting Save the Music Foundation. Now through December 23rd, participants can donate to support the Save the Music Foundation and enter for a chance to win this coveted one of one custom Dodge Demon upgraded by the experts at Speedcore, the team behind a number of famous movie franchise supercars. Today, Ozzy, I don't know when today was because I didn't know what day this came out, but it was in the past week. So I guess I can say this past week. Ozzy unveiled a video in support of the sweepstakes in the promo when Ozzy sets out to give away a Dodge Demon to support a great cause. He soon discovers that the tagline with "Win a Demon" might not sit well with everyone, including his 7,000-year-old pet demon. This sweepstakes,
it is so goddamn funny.
This sweepstakes comes on the heels of Ozzy's critically acclaimed #1 album, Patient Number 9. Having worked with so many great players over the years, I hope we can raise some money to support the Save the Music's mission to encourage the next generation of musicians, Ozzy said. Earlier this month, Save the Music Foundation celebrated its 25th anniversary with the unveiling of the brand refresh, reflecting its forward-looking approach to music education. Since 1997, the nonprofit has helped over 2,500 schools across the country develop music programs and donate nearly $70 million worth of instruments and technology. This year has been, say, the music's most impactful yet, as the organization delivered grants to 166 schools with a total enrollment of 82,187 students, achievements in line with STM's longstanding history of impact. We are on a mission to dream the world better, which means we look for ways to support the passions of many, which is something that Save the Music does very well, said Matt Polson, co-founder and CEO of Omaze. We are excited to partner with Ozzy and Speedcore to give away this one-of-a-kind car to benefit Save the Music. For 25 years, Save the Music has focused on investing in young creators in the culturally rich communities behind the pop music that dominates today's industry, said Henry Donahue, STM's executive director. Through the support of Omaze and Ozzy, we are able to take our work to the next level to reach more students and share the powers of making music. To enter, you can visit theomaze.com and select the Dodge Demon giveaway and follow the entry instructions, including an opportunity to donate or enter without donating. Sweepstakes will be open through December 23rd. So there you go. So if you want to win a Dodge Demon and support a good cause, there you go. So
that's a very good cause.
I think so. Reading the story and like seeing that video, because I don't know if you watched the video, but I watched the video of Ozzy doing the promoting the giveaway.
I did.
And then I read a story yesterday where Sharon was talking about it was sad seeing Ozzy in the shape he was in. I'm just like, dude, he seems to be doing pretty damn good for his situation, So I almost like wonder if she's just like trying to push him to like be just out of everything. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I don't know.
To see him doing all that he's doing to keep his music going, and she's just like talking about how bad he is. It's like, I don't know. This just doesn't don't add up there, Sharon. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people have had a lot of issues with her over the years. So
yeah.
I mean, she did a lot. She did a lot for Ozzy, and because I still honestly think if it wasn't for her, he would have died a long time ago.
Oh, well, yeah.
But still at the same time, I mean, she does some stuff that's a little shady sometimes, or on the face of it seems a little shady, but
yeah, she's a bit controlling as well. So
yeah.
So he's the artist here.
Yeah. But I mean, if you guys haven't seen that commercial yet, that little promo,
yeah, it's pretty good.
You guys need to take a look at it. It's pretty damn funny. I mean, I'm sure it's on YouTube at this point.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I watched it the other day when I first saw the story too. It's funny as shit. Of course, Ozzy's a funny guy. He always has been. So I mean, he's got a great sense of humor. All right, another one over at the PRP. Texan heavy metal outfit The Sword had disbanded. A statement on the matter was issued by the band's vocalist guitarist John D. Cronese earlier today, which happened to be October 20th. You can read it for yourself below, which I will do for you now. Quote, "Hello, friends. I find it my duty to inform you that after much contemplation, I have reached the difficult conclusion that it's time to bring The Sword's long and storied career to a close. When I started the band back in 2004, I could have only hoped for the successes we've enjoyed, and I consider myself extremely lucky to have been able to do it for a living for almost 2 decades. In that time, everything I ever wanted to and do with The Sword creatively has been said and done, and so the time has come for me to move on to other endeavors. Thanks to everyone who's ever come to a show, bought our albums and merch, and supported us over the years. Thanks to everyone who's tacked our tour managed, done sound, or sold merch for us. Thanks to all the bands who've taken us on tour, to all the bands we've taken on tour. Thanks to the promoters and venues who booked us and let us play. Thanks to the producers and recording engineers who worked on our albums and to the labels that released them. Thanks to Josh, our booking agent, and Mark, our business manager, whom we are glad to count as friends. And most of all, thanks to my bandmates Kyle, Brian, Jimmy, and Trevette for having faith in me, allowing me to realize my vision. You dudes are true legends. It's been a hell of a journey. Now it's time for the next chapter. End quote. So, any fans of the Sword out there? Unfortunately, you guys are losing a band, which I think always sucks. I can't really say I've listened to a lot of their music over the years. I've caught a song or two over the years, but it kind of stinks because I mean, you figure if he was the one who wanted to just move on, I mean, maybe they could have replaced him if all the other guys wanted to keep going. So I mean, who really knows? It seems a little strange that one guy can just be like, all right, dudes, band's over. The other, of course, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't quite that abrupt, but you know, especially with some of the other stuff we talked about already with some of the bands, like, okay, dude, you're out, you know, we'll see you later, you know, and then like the rest of the band just keeps on going. As you know, Rivers of Nile is going to keep on going as a 4-piece, you know. So I mean, you know, so I don't know. Seems a little strange, but it's unfortunate that we lose another band. You know, that always stinks, whether, you know, they break up or they retire, whatever the
case may be.
You know, whatever. Same thing with Pantera. Pantera was gone forever, you know, for the longest time, you know. So
almost with all the news out this week, you know, that I know you had a lot of the bad stuff, so I'll automatically go to the Richard Lewis character in Robin Hood Men in Tights, I think. Yeah.
Maybe if you say
the bad news in a good way, it won't sound so bad.
Yeah, such a good movie. Oh my God, such a good movie. Well, thankfully, I will say this though. Thankfully, that's kind of like the last story I have. That's kind of like a downer, talking about like bands changing. I've got two more left. One of them's funny, and one of them's funny and gross. So
yeah. There you go. Also, seeing where you posted the playlist up there, so that is this week's playlist that's posted there. So if you guys want to copy and that link and check out some new music and a couple of old tunes as well. So there was a lot of, like, I think I was up to 20 by the time I realized, oh shit, I got so there's like 20 bands that had new stuff out, you know, this week that got on the list. Well, that between that and what Victor had put out there, so it was like 20 new songs. I was like, wow,
yep,
it's pretty unreal to have that many. Usually it's like maybe 15 or 16, and then I have to fill in the rest. But it was, you know, didn't have to do too much work this week. It was done for me. So it's always a good thing. So
yeah, I was about to say there's nothing wrong with that.
All right, going back over to Metal Hammer here. This one's kind of actually got a picture to go along with this one too. So
oh, cool.
Make sure I got it. Yeah, hopefully I can get it in the camera. But graphic artist has accused Marvel and Disney of ripping off a piece of artwork made for Dutch hardcore band Born from Pain. Estonian-born artist Midi had called out Marvel on Twitter, claiming that the poster for a recent Disney Plus show Werewolf by Night bore a striking resemblance to a design he created in 2016 for one of the band's T-shirts based on the song Lone Wolf. Media tweeted, "I might be crazy, but did Marvel just rip me off? I did this art for Born from Pain around 6 years ago." The artist showed shots of the two pieces side by side, which I will show you here in a minute, pointed out similarities between the specific details in the images. As a vector artist, I could tell that these rounded ends mean the art was auto-traced and then edited. So, well, there you go. Media added, "This is a thing is, a lot of these lines are mistakes because I was experienced in Animal Heads, and they copied my mistakes, which I clearly see." Speaking to the direct, media expanded to the similarities, pointing to the animal's chin, teeth, and snout. Media claimed that the original image was traced in a vector graphics program before elements were digitally manipulated. It's very hard to find art since I'm a lesser known artist outside of the niches I work in, but I interact with a lot of comic book artists and I have this art in my Twitter feed and on my Instagram page. My wild guess is that the disc designer saw my interaction with other comic book artists and saw this art or was following me. After several other Twitter users offered their support, Median Kai, I guess, I don't know, said that the legal steps had been taken. The artist tweeted, "Didn't expect this to blow up and thought I'd be ridiculed for this, but I'm so overwhelmed with the support I received from the community. From my side, I already took some legal steps toward this case. Once again, thank you for your tremendous support." So it looks like Disney may be in a little lawsuit here, which I'm sure they'll settle out of court and give the guy a bunch of money. So
Yeah.
but there is the very, very close artwork there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think
it does look like all the stuff got like digitally cut out there. So
yeah. I honestly I think dude has a case, but I don't see him. I think he's probably got a case, but I think it's going to be one of these instances where it's like a David versus Goliath kind of thing. And you think Disney isn't ready for some shit like this. So I mean, it probably will end up getting settled out of court and all this other shit. But I mean,
I think the thing is like, if they did do that, then they should have just asked him for permission to use it,
right?
I mean, and paid him the royalties to use it and be done with it.
Right.
It's like now you're in a lawsuit that's probably going to cost you more than what it would have cost to use it the right way. Yeah. so it's not like it's a big deal. It's artwork. I mean, it's not. Yeah. It's like a movie poster. You're just, you're not like. I mean, how many movie posters have you seen that you say, "Oh, I've seen that," and I've seen that scene in the movie from the poster? No, you don't. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
So yeah. Hopefully it gets situated. Like I said, I think it would probably be handled out of court and throw some money at him and be done with it. But
yeah, probably.
Just write it off on their taxes and make them more money. So
right. Yeah. I mean, this isn't. That's a messed up thing. Is this shit isn't going to hurt Disney either way.
No.
Whether they win or lose, quote unquote, that's not going to hurt them at all.
But I do side with the guy though. I mean, if that's the case,
so do I.
They definitely should have paid him to use the content. I mean,
right.
We can't go. I mean, we pay to see your content on Disney Plus. I mean, it's like we can. If you go out and find out we're robbing you, pirating your shit, you're gonna be mad. So I mean, it's gonna be kind of the same situation. You can't have one without the have it your way, and the only way is your way. That's not how it works.
Right. Yeah. So yeah,
I also just wanted to ignore Myrna there. Welcome, Myrna.
Yeah, I was just about to say good morning to Myrna myself. Yeah, so I'm kind of on dude's side. It's too sometimes close. It's too exactly. It's too close. Sometimes there's been, and I don't have any specific examples, but I mean we've all seen. I think we've all, whether it's in music or art or whatever. I mean you always get. Something comes along where somebody accuses somebody. I was like, "Hey, you ripped off my song, or you did this, you did that," and then it's like you kind of look at it. It's like, all right, if you squint, then maybe. But I mean, you put those two pictures side by side. It's like, man, those are really awfully close. So this is kind of one of those instances where
it really does. And it really does look like they just cut out like the the sides of the wolf's face, and then so you don't see the ears or whatever. And then just kind of put their own little color in the face. And it's like,
right. Yeah. So
the only difference is the mouth's open and not closed, which may be something.
Well, still that. Well, I mean, that can probably be manipulated too. So they probably.
I mean, they're Disney. They got digital, CGI, all kind of shit they can.
Yeah. So
I mean, they're teamed up with Marvel now. So
But I mean, still at the same time, I mean, if you have all that technology, just come up with your own wolf. Come up with your own damn design. I mean, why do you got to poach off of somebody else?
Or pay the guy. So like I said,
one or the other.
Pay the guy.
Right. Yeah. All right. Now I want to I'm going back over to Blabbermouth here for this one, and like I say, I got two. Like I say, I got two more stories. Both are funny. One's funny and gross. I'm talking funny to me. Funny to me
Yeah,
because
right.
I don't know if you guys out there will think this is funny. When I read it, I thought it was funny. So it's whatever. So I thought it was funny. So back over at Blabbermouth, Lamb of God frontman Randy Blythe, who has admitted to fantasizing about retiring from the band in the past, once again spoke about his post Lamb of God future in a new interview with Metal Hammer magazine. He said, "I haven't seen that exit ramp yet. That's very specific to Lamb of God too, not to music in general, as I plan on making music for as long as I possibly can. But nobody needs to see 70-year-old Randy Blythe up on stage jumping around and yelling, 'This is a motherfucking invitation.'" I'd still pay to see it. The 51-year-old Richmond, Virginia-based musician continued, quote, "I'm such a physical performer. That's what it is for me. Total physical immersion in our music. I don't know how long I'll be able to do that. I know for a fact that unless something horrible happens, if we make it to 2025, that'll be 30 years of the band. I gotta make it to that 30 years, and I think my body can take that," end quote. Blythe, who published his first book, Dark Days, a Memoir, in 2015, previously discussed his retirement from Lamb of God during a 2016 appearance on the Metal Sucks podcast. At the time, he said, quote, "I think I'm a better writer than I am a musician, and I'm not going to be in Lamb of God when I'm 70 years old, but hopefully I'll still be writing books. I will bet you every penny in my bank account that you will not see a 60-year-old Randy hopping around screaming, 'Walk with me in hell.' Fuck that. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. God, that would be atrocious. No one needs to witness that. Can you imagine me at 60? I'm skinny enough as it is. By then I'll have a little gut. I'll look like a toothpick that swallowed a bowling ball, probably bald. My throat will probably fall out if I do that by then," end quote. In 2015, Randy Blythe told Revolver magazine that he didn't think it was possible for him and his Lamb of God bandmates to play extreme music into their 60s. "I'm not going to be doing this when I'm fucking 60. No fucking way," he said. "We're not the Rolling Stones." He added, "I'm always going to be doing music, but not something quite so aggressive, I'm sure. I don't think Lamb of God ever has to break up," he clarified. "I think we can gracefully move out to pasture." So I don't know. I thought that was funny when I read it. So I don't know if anybody else laughed. So I was just kind of picturing it.
He can say that he can say that graciously moving out to pasture, but I think Slayer had that same mindset, but all the other band members didn't. So especially Kerry King. Kerry King's like, "No, bro, we shouldn't have quit." So so when Tom Araya was like, "Yeah, it's probably time for Slayer to hang it up," and then Kerry King's like, "Yeah, maybe, but we shouldn't have." But So I mean, like I said, you could say that, but the rest of Lamb of God may have a different take on it. So I mean, it's a band thing, not just one person. So unfortunately,
and I'm still not 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt sure you'll never see Slayer again. I
think you will. I mean, like I said, I think there'll be a time where you'll see them come together and do even if it's like a festival tour, like Hell Yeah just did. You'll wind up seeing them do something like that. I think. I mean, because it's like I haven't seen Slayer in since '96, I think. So it
last time I saw him was in 2004.
So it would be awesome for me to see some of the newer stuff live that I haven't seen.
Yeah,
so.
But I mean, if Slayer ever comes back, I think you're looking at something. Maybe literally like one show, maybe two in LA where they don't have to, because they're all from, I don't know for sure where they all live, but I'm wanting to say they live out on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if it's anything, they'll get back together. They may play one show, maybe two, like at SoFi Stadium where the Rams play, something like that. But who knows? I have nothing to base this opinion on other than the fact that I just get the feeling that at some point, because like you said, Kerry King was not done with music.
No,
if it was up to Kerry King.
I mean, obviously he's doing stuff now.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So Kerry King, if it was up to him, Slayer would have a show fucking 2 nights somewhere.
Right.
But so I just have a feeling, and I totally get why Tom Araya wanted to do what he did.
Yeah. I don't think Kerry King's like mad at Tom for doing that. I don't think so either. He's just saying it in a sense that we quit too soon. It's like
yeah. So
and he's not mad at anybody about it. That's just his feelings on it. And
right. So I just get the feeling that at some point I think the bug will bite Tom again. It'll bite him.
And I also feel like Kerry was kind of like waiting, just to see if it was actually going to happen where he was actually done. Because I mean, you got to think of how long it's been since they actually quit or retired or whatever. So it's been a few years. So Kerry was just like, you know what, it's not happening. So I guess I'm just going to go do my own shit. I think he was kind of like sitting back waiting for it to reemerge, and it didn't. So
yeah. And if you think for a minute that Testament wouldn't let Dave Lombardo go play drums and Exodus wouldn't let Gary Holt go play the guitar.
Oh well, yeah. Yeah, because they know how important that is. So
yeah, so yeah. I mean,
especially if it's a short tour or 1 or 2 days. I mean,
right? Or is anyone gonna sit here and with a straight face and with all sincerity and gonna sit here and say that they wouldn't go see Slayer play with Dave Lombardo and Gary Holt?
Well, hell no. I'll fly to LA if I had to.
I was about to say, is anyone going to see? You would not be able to. Like I say, you would have to probably. Like I say, the hypothetical situation I just proposed would be them playing at SoFi Stadium. You're talking about an NFL stadium that can probably hold up to about 80,000 people.
Yeah, exactly.
You telling me that you wouldn't be able to? You telling me you'd be able to print enough tickets for that? I don't think you'd be able to print enough tickets for that.
No, I don't think so either.
You talking about for 1 weekend only, Slayer's going to be back in Los Angeles. Get the fuck out of here.
And the Pantera tribute is opening up for him. There you go.
Oh my Jesus Christ.
Yeah. You heard it here first. If it happens, I want my fucking money.
I mean, yeah, that's right. That's right.
I gave you the booking idea, damn it.
Yeah. Hey, actually, here you go. All right, let's do this. Let's move the venue from SoFi Stadium to AT&T Stadium in Texas, because doesn't that building hold up to 100K?
It's a little over 100, yeah.
So there you go. There you go. Pantera and Slayer together in Dallas for 1 weekend only. There you go.
Yeah, but I thought the Rams Stadium it was like the biggest one now. Is it not?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I thought the new stadium held more than the Dallas Stadium. I thought.
I don't know.
Because like Jerry set the tone. Everybody wanted to be bigger after he made that one. So
yeah, I don't know. Of course, you want a big stadium. Let's fucking put it in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Right. In either April or September, though.
Right. Well, man, that would be all the more reason to have it in Cali, because I mean it's going to be pretty well.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Same weather year round there, but
right.
In certain spots. But
yeah, of course. The funny thing is, you could probably convince Pantera to go to California to play with Slayer. Probably easier at this point for Slayer to travel to Texas to play with Pantera, regardless of the venue.
Well,
if you're gonna pull Tom Araya out of retirement, it's probably going to be just for him to like drive down the road, right to the venue by his house. Like, all right, I can be there for that, but I'm not going to go to Texas, even though LA to Texas is probably like a 3-hour flight, maybe.
Probably not even that. So.
Probably not. But I mean, to make this, because Tom Araya is the one you're going to have to convince, of course, at this point. So you make all the concessions you need to make to get Tom Araya. Look, it's just a Friday and Saturday night. It's literally just right down the 10 or the 5 or whatever the fuck it is. You just drive down there. You can even bring the kids, all this other shit. Whatever you want on your rider, whatever you want in the green room, like anything you want. So.
Yeah. And do you think for a moment that he hasn't picked up a guitar or anything during this whole time off?
Hell no.
He has.
He probably still plays all the time.
somebody's name. They wanted to come in here. Sounds like.
Oh.
But
yeah,
was I up or you up? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's your turn. I just started talking. We were talking about Lamb of God.
Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, I think that would be you got to think too. Phil's got to go from New Orleans to wherever. So, of course, I don't think he has a problem going to LA either. But
I don't think he does. I don't think he does. Well, of course, if you told Phil. And this is bad because it's gonna make Phil sound greedy. But if you tell Phil, hey, fly out to LA and open up for Slayer, just imagine the money you'll make. I'm sure he'll be like, yeah, I'll be on a plane tomorrow.
Right. What are you talking about? I'm already in the lobby of the hotel.
Yeah, he's like I'm already here. Yeah, I'm already here.
I was expecting your call because Metalheads Unite mentioned it. So
that's right. Yeah. Oh, God damn, man. Hey, we got. I'm telling you, we could book some tours now. We could book some.
Yeah. Maybe we're in the wrong field or something.
We might be. I could see the marquee now. Metalheads Unite presents Slayer, one weekend only.
Well, I had a conversation with Sepsis during the week too about that. So they were asking me about venues in Nashville. So I gave them a few venues.
Shit! Okay.
We may be looking to see a Sepsis show.
That'd be great.
At least within by early 2023 maybe. So.
Especially if we could be a part of it.
Yeah, I told him I said it'd be cool to actually finally hang out with you guys face to face. So we got to do that with Eyes of the Living. So that's my goal now is for everybody, of course, to an extent. Like I'm not expecting to meet Source of Rage anytime soon or anything because of course they're in Germany, but like Devil or any of those guys, but definitely one of the last and
oh yeah.
Some of those bands that are actually here in the States, Extinction AD, they can be
Extinction AD, yeah. I still think Extinction AD and Sepsis, those guys, and even Eyes of the Living, I think you could put those three bands on a bill together and let them go around the Northeast.
Probably, yeah.
Because
they're all there. So
they're all based up there. I think you could get those three bands to tour around up there.
Chicago and Michigan and Pennsylvania and New York and Jersey and they can do a little tour up there. Probably a good 6-8 week tour there. Doing that.
I think they could. I think they absolutely could.
So they were saying because I think they said something about they make because they was like, oh cool, so and because I told them the venues, I said, oh cool, we're going to try to get Roses on Red to come with us. So that's somebody they tour with a lot, and they're a female fronted band too. They're pretty good too. So that would actually be cool to see those two bands together.
Yeah.
So hopefully they get to work out something with one of the venues I mentioned, and we'll see what happens.
That would be very cool. Yeah.
All right. Last one I have listed. I got that one pulled up that just came out today, but this is the last one I had printed from over at Metal Hammer. 2022 is shaping up to be a hell of a busy year for Corey Taylor. I think I may have posted this in the page too, but I try to mention some of that stuff here because I know a lot of people aren't on our Facebook. So, not content with dropping Slipknot's 7th album, The End, so far, and touring on the back of it, he's now expanding his personal empire by setting himself up as a horror mogul. Corey has announced that he has recently bought the rights to iconic horror magazine, Famous Monsters, and plans to relaunch it this year. He also intends to use the name to produce films, set up conventions, and even make toys. He's already looking at what's going to happen on the backside of Slipknot, obviously, or he wouldn't, he don't have to worry about anything. Speaking to Rolling Stone, the singer said, "Our job is to build a foundation to bring Famous Monsters into the modern age, while also honoring the legacy that came before. It's the whole reason that we were fans to begin with. Founded in 1958, Famous Monsters was one of the first magazines dedicated purely to horror. The singer says that he intends to digitize every back issue of the magazine, original copies of which currently sell for stupid money at auctions. He added that he also wants to set up a Famous Monsters convention that visits different cities every year, almost like a Super Bowl or WrestleMania. and ultimately relaunched the magazine as an annual or biannual publication using editorial concepts from past issues in new ways. The singer also said that he planned to make his own horror movies under the Famous Monsters name. I've been writing my own scripts for the last 5-6 years, he told Rolling Stone, and I'm trying to get some of my stuff into production right now. There's a handful that are very, very close. So anything that I put out is instantly going to get the Famous Monsters logo on it just to build that brand recognition. Corey recently addressed the divisive reception Slipknot's The End So Far received among some of the band's fans who thought it was too experimental or not heavy enough. When people hear it, they go, "Well, that's a departure." He told the NME, "It's like, what are you, fucking new? We spent 20 plus years throwing people for a loop." He added, "You also have to remember a large part of the population are also people who have created petitions against every Batman that has ever been fucking cast in a movie, and they've always been wrong. So who's really right here? You fucking idiot. Sometimes you just need to shut the fuck up and listen to what we give you." So I mean, I think that's that seems a little harsh, but in his defense, he's been hearing this for like probably the past 3 albums. So it's just like you keep talking your shit, but you keep buying the album. So just shut the fuck up and listen to it. Like, I mean, seriously, like these people, these same fans are the ones bitching, but they keep buying the fucking album. So, if you're that goddamn, tore up over it, then quit buying the shit and stop listening to Slipknot. If you're not, obviously you're not as big of a fucking fan as you thought you were. So,
yeah. I agree. Well, I mean, and even the last couple of albums have had songs on there that I can't stand. I'll be completely honest. There's a song on, but at the same time, the albums are still solid.
Yeah, there's 12 others that are great. So.
Right, there's still good music on both albums. It just so happens that on "We Are Not Your Kind" there was a song that I couldn't stand, and on this one there's a song that I can't stand. But you know what I do? I listen to the songs I like, and I don't listen to the ones that I don't.
Right.
So but people bitch just to bitch. And the squeaky wheel gets the grease, all those cliches and all that shit.
I mean, if we really, this would be totally opinionated, but if we really boiled down to it and dug into this, how many albums would you think that we could come up with that were actually perfect from front to back?
Well, not many. I mean, there's albums. There's plenty of albums that I've listened to that I can enjoy from front to back.
Right.
But as far as a perfect album, I don't really know that there's a perfect album. I mean, if you want to start, hell, you could start picking apart any album, whether you could even, and people, and you could pick apart the Black Album, and trust me, people have, so
Well, I was just saying, like, because I said it was opinionated, so
right
as an opinionated opinion, then I was like, how many do you think we could actually say that, I think that album was, great front to back, not say perfect, but I'm just saying it was great front to back. So, there's not even many albums you can say, oh, that was great front to back. There's always, something in there. You go, like, we critique shit every week. So,
yeah, but we critique it, but at the same time, neither one of us is a musician,
right?
So, but we're just going off of what we hear. And stuff like that, and our opinions, like you were just talking about, an album that's great front to back. You and I may agree, and then there's going to be listeners out there going, "You guys are out of your fucking minds." So and
then there's going to be listeners say, "What about this one?" And then we're going to be like, "Well, I didn't like the song on it," or it's just it's the way. So that's why I have a problem with this thing. Is like you got people ripping bands just like Slipknot saying, "Oh, well, this, and this." Well, there's somebody out there that thought those albums were fucking perfect from front to back. Somebody did. We obviously, me and you both have had issues with a song or two on the last couple of albums, but it's beside the point. Is it still, Slipknot still puts out good stuff, and like I said, this is the thing. Is it's like, I hate to use any of these guys as pawns every week, but you got bands like Shinedown and Nickelback, which I've seen both live twice. So this is well, I've seen Shinedown 3 or 4 times, but beside the point. They were at festivals, so I just seen them. But beside the point is like you have songs on there, and you can say, "Oh, well, I don't like that because it's not, hard or heavy or whatever." But let me tell you something. I've been to those shows, and I have yet to hear some of those songs that you talk about that are soft or whatever for Shinedown. Like Shinedown comes out with Cut the Cord and Diamond Eyes, and they sing all their heavy stuff when they're doing live shows because people don't realize live shows are to get you up and into the music, and those ballads aren't going to do that. So they're and they do throw 45 and stuff like that in there every once in a while. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's some of their biggest hits, but what I'm saying is like they don't do those. So all that stuff Corey Taylor was taking shit for, they don't play those. I mean, you're probably never going to hear My Pain live. I mean, probably never.
Probably not,
because they know the ridicule it's gotten, and it's not one of their songs that they put out as a single. So that's what I'm trying to say. You're mad, we're basing stuff, and they're probably mad at some of the songs on there. Oh, it's not this and it's not that, and they're not even the fucking singles. So you're probably never going to hear it live anyway. So and again, every band can't play all their songs live. You just can't.
Right.
I mean, even 3 hours of Machine Head, you don't get everything. So
no, you don't. You don't. Yeah. Because I mean, if we do, we'll let you guys know in December if Machine Head plays all their songs because we're going.
Right. That's not going to happen in 3 hours.
No, it's not going to happen. But at the same time, we've brought this. This is another thing we've brought up on multiple occasions. Disturbed changed their sound because everyone was pissing and moaning about them sounding the same. They changed their sound, and people are pissing and moaning that it wasn't Disturbed. The fuck do you want? The fuck do you want?
Fans don't know what they want, so that's why. That's why Corey Taylor says you just need to shut the fuck up and listen to what I give you because you don't know what you want. So
and
and you don't. And the thing is, a fan does not determine what they record anyway because you don't know what's going to be on the album prior to the album coming out. So unless it's
it's our jobs as consumers of whatever product it is to determine whether or not we want to buy it.
Right.
If you don't, if Chapeltown Rag and The Dying Song didn't turn you on to the new album before it came out, you probably didn't buy it, and that's your prerogative. Right. I liked the songs. I'm a Slipknot fan. I have the album. And I enjoy the album. Is there a song I don't like? Sure. I'm not going to say what song that is because that's just me. Everyone else can form their own opinion. Some people may not like the Dying Song. Some people may not like the Chapeltown Rag, and that's totally fine. That's their prerogative, But if they don't want to buy the album, don't buy the album. If they don't want to go to the concert, don't go to the concert.
So music lover.
You're next, yeah. All right, so. This is my last one. God almighty. Back over at the PRP, goth metal outfit Typo Negative have a new 30th anniversary vinyl reissue of their sophomore album, The Origin of the Feces, lined up for a November 25th release. Don't get ahead of me now. This new pressing of the record, which features the original cover art of a close-up of a man's, reputedly late vocalist bassist Peter Steele's anal sphincter, features a peelable scratch and sniff sticker surprise.
Oh my god!
Several vinyl variants are out there. You can pre-order the Green Leaves variant here. Hyperlink in the story. Skull, Gold, and Smoke vinyl variants can be pre-ordered here. Another hyperlink in the story. So right to the point. So get yourself a Typo Negative, The Origin of the Feces re-release with the unedited brown eye and a scratch and sniff sticker.
Well, if it was from Peter Steele, I would say it probably spent like protein shakes and protein bars, but
probably
that dude was fucking huge.
Yeah, he was. So yeah, there you go. That was everything I had for current events.
All right. Like I said, I had just one more as I want to talk about. We were talking about Lamb of God, so this kind of falls into a segue, I guess. But Lamb of God frontman Randy Blythe recalls a remarkable lucky break saved him and his friends and children of Bottom from a near certain criminal charge. The bands toured together a number of times, and Blythe would often sleep in Bottom's bus, as the finished band were more in tune with his then wild ways than any other members of Lamb of God. All-night parties and resulting quieter days suited Blythe's routine better before he quit drinking, of course, more than a decade ago. When Bottom's bus was stopped by U.S. Border Patrol around 8 a.m. somewhere in the desert, Arizona or New Mexico, Blythe knew he and some of his others on board were screwed if the bus was searched for illicit substances. But a stunning coincidence left Children of Bottom believing Richmond, Virginia native Blythe was a magician for stopping a K9 drug search before it had a chance to start. Blythe tells tales from the Metalverse. The dog handler is starting towards the bus. He looks over at me and goes, "Are you from Richmond?" I said, "Dude, I live 2 doors down from you. I heard you were doing a band now." The dog handler convinced his captain to let the bus go on its way, saving them from potential disaster. Blythe asks, he takes the dogs and gets back in the car. We all get back on the bus, and it's dead silence. All the guys in Bottom didn't hear the conversation, so they're like, "How in the fuck did you do that?" And I'm like, "It's magic, dude. I'm magic." It was a lucky close call because I had a neighbor who wound up in the Border Patrol. So that's pretty freaking cool, man. Like I said, that's one of those crazy stories you would probably never hear unless you just got brought up from. I don't know how that got brought up, but I'm glad it did. That's kind of a cool story to actually know about. So
again, that's one of those cool fucking little, blink and you might miss it kind of stories that are out there.
Yeah. which we don't. Myrna is actually was married to my uncle one time, like years and years ago. God bless her for doing that. But Myrna was actually part of the Border Patrol in Texas at one point. So she could probably kind of relate to the story, I guess, a little bit. But that's pretty funny though to be. I mean, how coincidental is that to have a dude that lived 2 doors down from you be on the Border Patrol, and that's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty damn lucky.
So I got some other headlines. She remembered those days. I'm sure she probably got crazy stories from Border Patrol too. But so here's other headlines. Bob Rock thinks the rules of metal are very confining. Says Metallica stretched the boundaries on load and reload. I didn't like just these are just headlines that I thought we could talk about. I think they stretched it before load and reload, but that's just me.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But Bob Rock is definitely not a somebody that doesn't know shit about music. He's been around with some big fucking bands for a long time. So he would probably and I do agree that the rules of metal are confining because we talk about this a lot, and we talk about how people say, well, that band, just like I see this all the time, like Five Finger Death Punch isn't metal. Okay, let me put it to you like this: Five Finger Death Punch was what created in the late '90s, I think. So you got to think when they came out in late '90s and sounded like they do now, that was a whole different time period for that sound. So you bounce 20 years later, 30 years later, and you're looking at bands that come out with different sounds, different metal sounds. So we've talked about this. There's 17 plus subgenres of metal. So you can't say that, oh, well, that band's not metal. I mean, Five Finger Death Punch is still considered metal. I don't care what you say. I mean, even though some of the stuff is, some of their stuff isn't because they're covers and all that shit. But they're still considered a metal band regardless.
If they're not metal, what are they?
Like, who knows, man?
They're not hard rock.
And like I said, you kind of walk a fine line with hard rock and metal. You really do.
I don't think AC/DC is a metal band.
No, they're more hard rock, and you know
Right.
they'll honestly probably tell you that. I mean,
yeah, but I like I like AC/DC, but I've never thought that AC/DC was a metal band.
right.
I have never. This is like I say, this is just me. I personally have never thought that Kiss has been a metal band their whole career.
No.
So they've kind of done a little bit of this, in their career as far as heavy metal goes. I don't think that Def Leppard was ever a heavy metal band. They sure as fuck aren't a heavy metal band now.
No, they're more popular.
Bon Jovi, same thing. Bon Jovi may have been a heavy metal band for like their first 3 albums. Now they're just a pop band.
Yeah, and like I said, you're thinking about now. We call it hair metal, heavy metal. Then hair metal, heavy metal. Whatever. I know a lot of people don't like that terminology, but those bands were that type of music at that point. So yes, it sounds like it's fucking hard rock now because of all the metal that we've been brought on to in the last 40 fucking years. I mean, it's like anything else. It's evolved and evolved and evolved and evolved. So
that's why, and that's what, and that evolution is why I still like, even when I'm talking about like bands, when we're in the historical releases segment, I still talk about bands like Stryper and Winger and Britney Fox and Kix and Faster Pussycat, because in their heyday that was heavy metal at the time. So and of course we're in our you and I are in our mid 40s, so I mean we remember those bands.
Mm-hmm.
So those were metal bands at the time. Poison was a heavy metal band. Motley Crue is still a heavy metal band as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, Saigon, like, not to get too far ahead, but like, Saigon Kick is on this week's list. XYZ is on this week's list, because, those were heavy metal bands. Firehouse.
And XYZ was an underrated band too.
So, right. So, I mean, but at the same great. And at the same time, boom, here's one, AC/DC. I have AC/DC on the list because there's nothing wrong with hard rock and heavy metal in certain circumstances, that line being blurred.
Right.
So there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. Nothing wrong with it.
And Victor, you're right. Those bands came out during the glam era. So I mean they're gonna always be labeled that way. No matter what they Wasp is doing their reunion stuff now, and it's still Wasp was a pretty heavy ass fucking band for their time frame. I mean, they weren't heavy metal. I don't know what you would call them because they were like heavier than everything that was out at that time, just about. So, so it's it's like I said, it's a fine line. Where you're walking when you're talking about hard rock and metal, and like and to me, I enjoy both genres because, like I said, there's such a fine line there. It's And honestly, I've listened to some of the stuff, from back in the day, from the 80s and stuff, that the hair metal days and all the glam and all that stuff. And I'm just like, dude, I just can't do it anymore. It depends on who it is. Don't get me wrong. There's still some of it I do like, but there's some of it too. It's like, man, how I ever liked this shit, because none of the
that's
stuff.
That's all there was.
Because nothing I'm listening to now was out in 1988. So
right, that's all there was. There was
no Slipknot or Avenged Sevenfolds and
So, I mean, you had to listen to Poison and Britney Fox and
that was
Kicks and House, all that shit. That's all you had. I mean, we had Metallica, we had Slayer, we had Megadeth, but I mean, we had those. But
Anthrax.
We had Anthrax. So we had the early evolution of thrash metal. So we had that. But as far as the saturation that we have now and the ease of access that we have to all the media that we have now, we didn't have that back then.
Right.
So
you had MTV and your circus magazines and your Metal Edge magazines and your Hit Parader magazines. And that's how you learned about all of your stuff. You didn't have you didn't have any other outlets back then. So and they actually had a radio station that played Dokken and Metallica and Scorpions and all those bands back then too, which you don't have anymore because they play bullshit now. But Bush is like hard rock to their ass now. So Victor said he loved Warren, especially Cherry Pie. I didn't like the song, but producer push to put that song in the final album. That song on that album to me, Uncle Tom's Cabin, which was a great song.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that.
Warren had a lot of good songs, man.
Yeah, and I've always thought Uncle Tom's Cabin was an underrated song, underrated song.
Yeah, and hands down, like their Dog Eat Dog album was their heaviest.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, carrying on to other headlines, a daytime radio station accidentally played Steel Panther's Glory Hole, and you can guess what happened next. All the catalog was taken down. So, speaking of glam metal bands, I guess. But yeah, I can imagine how do you accidentally play it though?
Yeah.
And then Ian Hill on KK Downing rejoining Judas Priest at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It may kickstart something. So I think he's more or less saying, from what I read, that he says may kickstart a forgiveness type apology, type of scenario. They're not saying KK Downing is coming back to the band, but a little bit of a getting along kind of thing. But they even said 3 guitarists are going to play at their performance. So 3 guitarists are actually going to be playing. So KK and Richie
and 2 drummers, I think.
Yeah, and 2 drummers.
I think 2 drummers too. Yeah.
Slaughter actually. I met Mark Slaughter.
I've heard this story.
Yeah, so
it's a cool story, but I've heard it.
Yeah, and it was funny. It was funny because it was I was working at a pharmacy at the time, and a guy calls up and says, "Hey, I need something," and tell me his name, and I said, he said Mark, and I said, "How you spell your last name?" And he spelled it like like Slaughter, and I was like, "Oh, okay, like the musician," and he's just like, "Hey, yeah, like the musician," And then I go to lunch and I come back, and he was my first customer coming back. He said, "Hey, I'm picking up from Mark Slaughter," and I was like, "Oh shit, you really are Mark Slaughter!" I'm like, "Oh shit!" I was like, well, in my defense, there's a lot of Slaughters in the area, so
yeah, there are, and how are you gonna know? I mean, what would you? I mean, that wouldn't be. I mean, that's the thing. You're like, oh, just like the guy you didn't think at the time you were talking to the actual person.
Yeah, I mean, if it had called up and saying something to me like, I need to pick up my prescription,
yeah,
maybe I'd be like, oh, hey, let's Mark Slaughter.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Alice Cooper taps Rob Zombie and Sammy Hagar for a 20th annual Christmas pudding concert. That ought to be kind of interesting.
Yeah,
actually, I think Cooper and Zombies toured together before. I think
they have.
Yeah. Sammy's kind of through in the mix, though. That's kind of weird.
That seems he's one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah. You see Sammy come out with all painted up shit. And
yeah, right.
I'll tell you what, though, Sammy Hagar is probably one of the I guess less aging musicians I've ever seen in my life. Like this dude does not look like he's 70 fucking years old.
I know,
or ever how old he is. I know he's up there, but. He definitely looks like he's still in his fucking 40s, which is unreal.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Maybe I need to start drinking more tequila. I don't know what the fuck
his
secret is.
Yeah.
But
Sammy Hagar is just pickled at this point.
Right.
Yeah, Victor, I remember seeing something about that festival out there in Gatlinburg. Yeah, I remember seeing something.
Yeah. I did see something about that.
Yeah, Striper, Kicks, Vixen, the Nelson twins. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's crazy. So how was that? Was it good to see that that era of music still playing?
I'm sure it sounded great.
Then we got Gene Hoglan on the next Dark Angel album. We're just trying to make it the most aggressive music that we can make, and
I'm in.
We're okay with that. So
yeah, I'm in. Yeah, sign me up for that.
The more aggressive, the better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lizzie Hale isn't worried about alienating Hailstorm fans with her opinions, which, I mean, if you know who Lizzie Hale is, she don't fucking hide much of anything. So, that's another thing. Like, I think that's a good thing, though, because I think too many artists and, like, not just music, but movie stars and everything, tend to feel more like fans' opinions tend to get to them more than it should, because a handful of fans shouldn't warrant 20 other million fans liking you. So,
Right.
Def Leppard's book, definitely the official story of Def Leppard's due out in early 2023. So if you want to listen to that story, actually, I've never seen the movie that much, but there was a movie that came out about them like years and years ago before the Historia one. It was like
I saw it.
It showed, yeah, it was actually good.
It was on VH1. I remember it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and it was actually a good movie too. It actually told a lot of the stories. So
yeah, it wasn't bad. I don't know how. I'm not 100% sure how accurate it was. Of course, those biopics never are. 100% accurate because you gotta take dramatic license. To add the tension and everything in there. But I mean, it told the story. Rick Allen losing his arm and all that shit. So.
I don't know. I think Steve Clark was still alive during that shooting of that movie. So
I don't. Yeah, I think so. But
yeah, I think he was. But
I think so
because I think it only went up to Hysteria. So
it's been so long since I've seen the movie. I don't exactly remember. I don't remember the exact timeline that the movie covered, but. But we know how the biopics are. I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody, for as good as it wasn't even 100% accurate. They didn't get the timeline right on some of the events, and then we all know The Dirt wasn't fucking 100% accurate. So, which still boggles my mind that The Dirt wasn't 100% accurate because all 4 guys in the bands were fucking direct consultants on it.
Right? Like, how in the hell is it?
How the hell did you? I mean.
Well, I just read that a while back where Vince Neil's coming out with his own documentary of his points on some of the stories. So maybe it was just one person's, like Nikki Sixx, I think, took a lot of the control of that movie.
Maybe because that's the funny thing is like the way they met Vince Neil in the movie is not the way it actually fucking happened.
Right, yeah. So
I don't know.
He was a wedding singer.
Yeah.
You'll be glad to hear this one. George Lynch is once again playing shows under Lynch Mob name.
I did see that, and I am happy about it.
Yeah, good for him. Like you shouldn't change your name for.
No, you shouldn't.
Not for that. That's your fucking name. It's like,
yeah.
Then Lacuna Coil's Christina Scabbia blasts online trolls. There is no space for negativity and hate in our family. Yeah, good for you. There's same here. Like,
Word.
We will blast your ass off of everything here if you do shit here. So
yeah, you're definitely like I say, you're entitled to your own opinion, but there's no point in being a dick just to be a dick. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you can be respectful about a conflicting opinion. That's fine. You can be respectful about it.
All right, that was all the headlines and stuff. I guess we can jump into hitting the road here.
Nice. All right.
So it's time for another round of because Decibel Magazine has announced a lineup for the annual Philadelphia edition of Metal and Beer Festival. That sounds like it goes hand in hand, right?
Yeah, it kind of does, yeah.
Headliners include the Black Dahlia Murder, featuring the band's new lineup, and Suicidal Tendencies playing their self-titled debut album in full. That'll be pretty cool. The rest of the lineup features I Hate Guy, commemorating 30 years of Take As Needed for Pain, with a full album set in Incantation, celebrating 25 years of Diabolical Conquest, with a full set plus Mizmor, Frozen Soul, Drowning Man, Undeath, Worm, Fuming Mouth, and Escuela Grind. There's also one more special set honoring the 30th anniversary of an iconic album that will be announced in the coming days. So anything else comes up on that, we will pass that along as well. Shinedown canceled their European dates due to some economical and logistical side of touring, which is being a repetitive thing here lately, seems like.
Yeah, it's becoming a habit.
And I think Venom Inc. actually mentioned something about the getting visas to try to come to the States to play shows was a pain in the ass.
They did.
Like they're so backed up with,
there's a backlog,
with visas and stuff. So, and that's probably, and that's been going on for a while because we know that's why In Flames had to cancel their first leg of the metal tour of the year. So, and then of course, speaking of Motley Crue and Def Leppard have announced their World Tour 2023 stadium tour to happen again, but not here in the States, unfortunately. So, they didn't want to succumb us to that twice, I guess. But
Right.
That kicks off on February 18th in Mexico City, Mexico, at the Foro Sol or Sol. I don't know how they say that over there, but then it ends on Glasgow. 2023 U.S. tour dates with Era and Brand of Sacrifice, which, man, that's a hell of a lineup. Then that kicks off on January 19th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at Mr. Smalls, and ends on February 18th in Detroit, Michigan at St. Andrews Hall. So that's actually, man, that's a pretty good lineup. I'd actually probably go check that out if I was closer, but no national dates, unfortunately. I think the closest they're coming is Atlanta. So
yeah.
U.S. instrumental prog quartet Polyphia have announced a run of the UK and European tour dates for May. That kicks off on May 9th in the UK at Bristol SWX and ends on May 26th in Paris, France at the Bataclan. So European and UK fans like the instrumental stuff. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Switch Engage, we talked about it. I saw this was with on Earth. Have December 29th in Huntington, New York at Paramount, and then December 30th at Worcester, Massachusetts Palladium. And that is all I had. I know there's a lot more out there, but I just touched on those because I know there's a lot more stuff that you cover than I do. So
yeah,
I don't like to. I don't like to steal all the thunder.
Oh no, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. I actually had all that, but that's totally fine. No, that's cool. I definitely don't mind that at all. I'd rather have it all covered than miss something.
Right.
So yeah, I'd absolutely I'd rather have that. So. All right, starting over at the PRP.com, like always, Miss May I has withdrawn from their European and UK tour with Barry Tomorrow and August Burns Red to some of those unforeseen logistical changes. Novelists FR is going to take their place. That tour runs from October 21st, which was yesterday, to November 26th. So I know that we had talked about those dates when the tour was first announced, so I'm not going to go back through those completely, but so the tour did start last night. So that one's already kicked off. Then we have Dying Fetus, Nasty, Cabal, and Frozen Soul going to Europe and to the UK in 2023, starting February 3rd, 2023 in Cologne, Germany at Essig Fabric, finishing up on February 22nd in München, Germany at Backstage. Then we have Weed Eater, Telekinetic Yeti, and Donnie Doolittle going on tour in November here in the United States. Starting in November, starting November 10th in Johnson City, Tennessee at the Hideaway, finishing December 10th in Chapel Hill, North Carolina at the Local 506. That will also feature ASG. There is no Nashville date, but like I said, the tour does start in Johnson City. So that's out for those of you people who don't know where that is. That's out towards Knoxville. So that's in East Tennessee. So then we have.
I think it's actually more toward the state lines. So too.
I think so. It's out, but yeah,
it's up there.
Yeah, it's out there. Then we have Pliny, Protest the Hero, and I Built the Sky going to Australia, starting January 28th, 23 in Sydney at the Metro Theatre, finishing February 5th in Perth at Magnet House. Then we have Matt Pike from High on Fire and Sleep going on a solo tour in November, starting November 13th in Dallas, Texas at Amplified Live, finishing November 20th in Iowa City at Gabe's. No Nashville date there. Botch is getting together for 2 reunion shows in Seattle at the Showbox on February 24th and 25th of 2023. Then here's one I'm surprised you didn't have, Jason. Seven Dust, Nonpoint, Il Nino, and Another Day Dawns are going to be getting together for some shows at the end of December. They're going to be in Detroit, Michigan at the Majestic on the 28th, Moline, Illinois at the Rust Belt on the 29th, then Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Rave on the 30th, and Green Bay, Wisconsin at the Epic Event Center on New Year's Eve. Then Crow Mags are going to go on a
I had actually already printed my stuff out when I seen that one. So.
Oh, did you? Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, I'd rather, that's what's kind of good about this segment is we kind of, between the two of us, we
Right.
pretty much have everything covered, so I don't know if we got 100% of everything, but I think we do a pretty good job between the two of us. So
yeah, we get most of it for sure. So.
Yeah, I think so. Then Cro-Mags are going to go on a U.S. tour in December, starting December 6th in Manchester, New Hampshire at Sheskeen, finishing December 18th in Philadelphia at Underground Arts. No Nashville date there. Then Wake and Wayfarer are going on a December tour of the United States, starting December 3rd in Denver, Colorado at the Decibel Metal and Beer Fest, finishing December 12th in Minneapolis, Minnesota at 7th Street Entry, and that's actually going to be Wayfarer only, so Wake won't be at that one. No Nashville date there. Lorna Shore has announced a Lorna Shore Christmas with Shadow of Intent, Invent Animate, Signs of the Swarm, Sentinels, and Endless on December 18th at the Wellmont Theater in Montclair, New Jersey. So that would be an interesting show, I think. Not a huge fan of Lorna Shore, but I know a lot of deathcore fans out there would probably want to check that one out. So I'd be interested to see what kind of Christmas show that band puts on.
Right.
And then over at blabbermouth.net, we have Sabaton, Baby Metal, and Lordi going on a 2023 European and UK tour starting April 14th in Leeds, UK at First Direct Arena, finishing May 20th of 23 in Kuopio, Finland at the Kuopio Hall. And then one that I saw on Twitter, Testament and Creator are going on a Latin American tour in 2023. They will be starting April 19th in Lima, Peru, and they will be finishing on May 9th of 2023 in San Salvador, El Salvador. So all of our Latin American fans kind of keep an eye out for that one. That show maybe coming your way.
And I, for one, am jealous of you. So.
I am totally jealous because I don't care if I've seen Testament twice this year already. I'd go again. So
yeah, especially to see Creator.
The Creator? I haven't seen Creator yet. So
yeah, me either. So that would be on the bucket list there. So.
Mm-hmm. So that was the Hit in the Road segment for the 15th through the 21st.
We need to get our little thing where we can have our
we need some sound effects,
special effects. Yeah, so,
yeah.
I know your brother Bob has some on his show. So
yeah, we
need to get with him and see what he uses. So.
We do.
All right, let's kick over to this week in metal history. Not much going on as far on my side of history, but there's a few things. So, kick off on October 16, 2010. Auburn University graduate student Justin Havard named a new species of fish. I'm trying to say this. Lepetocephalictus zeppelini. Because the fish's pectoral fin reminded him of the double neck guitar used by Jimmy Page. He was a big Led Zeppelin fan, and he was listening to them while he was working on the fish, Havard said. And the structure that makes this species unique just reminded me of the guitar that Jimmy Page played. So there you go. That's pretty cool. Like I said, we have some crazy, there's been bones named after metal bands. And
yeah.
I mean, it's just pretty wild.
Yep.
October 19th, 2005, a survey concluded that the average person spent around $42,000 on music during their lifetime. The figure included the amount spent on hi-fi equipment, concerts, and CDs. Music enthusiasts were likely to spend more than double that, partying with just over $89,000 in a lifetime, according to the survey conducted by UK company Prudential. I would say I'm probably in the enthusiastic category at this point. So, drop $400 on T-shirts at a festival. So,
yeah. I'm kind of hoping, thanks to this show, that we end up kind of surpassing that one of these days.
Well, maybe. Yeah, I mean, you never know. So hopefully.
Yeah.
October 19, 1997, the original Alice Cooper band guitarist Glenn Buxton died from pneumonia at age 49. Well, that's hard. Man, pneumonia at 49, that's crazy. Born in Akron, Ohio, he attended high school in Phoenix, Arizona, where he met Dennis Dunaway and Vincent Furnier, also later to call himself the titular Alice Cooper. Buxton co-wrote several classic Alice Cooper hits, including School's Out, I'm 18, and Elected. So he wrote some of the biggest hits. October 21st, 2006, American musician, singer, songwriter, and drummer Cindy West died, founding member with Joan Jett of the all-girl group The Runaways, hailed by fans and critics alike to be one of the most groundbreaking drummers in rock and roll history. For one, she was a female, so there you go.
Mm-hmm.
A female in the late 70s drumming, so you didn't hear that back then. So.
No, you did not.
Well, I mean, you didn't hear of all-girl bands back then, really. So
also true.
You had your Fleetwood Mac and Hearts, but they had other, guys in the band. So,
but yeah, a total female ensemble. Yeah, it wasn't around.
Yeah, which like I said,
thankfully that has changed. Thankfully it has.
Oh yeah, in a big way. But that is all the history that I had for the week. So.
All right, I'm gonna, like I said last week, I have lost my notes for the rest of the year, so I'm gonna blaze through this as quickly as I can. I'm gonna go as shorthand as I can because I have a full list, and I know probably for sure that I had some of these last year, but I erred on the side of caution, so I'm gonna try to blaze through this as quickly as I can. For the week of the 15th through the 21st, brought to you by This Day in Metal and Dr. Feelgood and Ms. Hyde on Twitter and Facebook, respectively, as always. Starting off with 10/15/02, Yngwie Malmsteen releases Attack. Album of the year. 10/15/96, Motorhead releases Overnight Sensation, and Korn releases Life is Peachy, which debuted and peaked at number 3 on the Billboard 200. Nice. 10/15/85, Overkill releases Feel the Fire, and Fate's Warning releases The Spectre Within. 10/15/84, Man of War releases Sign of the Hammer. 10/15/83, Alcatraz releases No Parole from Rock and Roll. 10/16/85, Possessed releases Seven Churches. 10/16/01, Ozzy Osbourne releases Down to Earth, which peaked at number 4 on the Billboard 200. 10/16/06, Dream Evil releases their 4th studio album, United. 10/16/09, Epica releases Design Your Universe. 10/16/15, Saxon releases Battering Ram, and Stryper releases Fallen. 10/16/97, Judas Priest releases what we have said on more than one occasion is an underrated album, Jugulator. 10/16/2000, Virgin Steel releases The House of Atreus Act 2. 10/17/2011, Insomnium releases One for Sorrow, and Iced Earth releases Dystopia. 10/17/88, Tankard releases The Morning After. 10/17/95, Yngwie Malmsteen releases Magnum Opus, and Morbid Angel releases Gateways to Annihilation.
Sorry, I was fucking with the playlist. So.
10/17/89, Kiss releases Hot in the Shade, which peaked at number 8 on the Billboard 200, and XYZ releases their self-titled debut album. 10/17/06, Twisted Sister releases A Twisted Christmas. 10/17/94, Taiketo releases Strength in Numbers. 10/18/93, Carcass releases Heartwork. 10/18/99, Opeth releases Still Life, and UDO releases Holy. 10/18/13, Motorhead releases Aftershock. 10/18/94, Queensryche releases Promised Land. 10/18/88, House of Lords released their self-titled debut album, which peaked at number 78 on the Billboard 200. 10/19/07, Soilwork releases Sworn to a Great Divide. 10/19/2012, Winter Sun releases Time 1. Doro releases Raise Your Fist, and Man of War releases The Lord of Steel. 10/19/18, Amaranthi releases Helix. Soulfly releases Ritual. Ace Frehley releases Spaceman, and Disturbed releases Evolution, which debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200. 10/19/94, Talisman releases Humanimal Part 2. 10/19/99, Firehouse releases Category 5. 10/20/97, Deicide releases Servants of the Light. 10/20/2010, Amberian Dawn releases End of Eden. 10/20/06, Hammerfall releases Threshold. Talisman releases 7, and Winger releases 4. 4th album, 7th album, respectively. 10/20/84, Gravedigger releases Heavy Metal Breakdown. 10/20/17, Europe releases Walk the Earth. 10/20/08, AC/DC releases Black Ice. 10/20/86, Crimson Glory releases their self-titled debut album. 10/20/98, King's X releases Tapehead. 10/20/89, Nine Inch Nails releases their debut studio album, Pretty Hate Machine. 10/21/1987, King Diamond releases Abigail. 10/21/77, Meatloaf releases his debut studio album, Bat Out of Hell, which has sold over 43 million copies worldwide. 1021 of '02, Visions of Atlantis releases The Eternal Endless Infinity. 1021 of 14, Amaranthi releases Massive Addiction, and Slipknot releases Point 5, The Gray Chapter. 1021 of 16, Amaranthi releases Maximalism. Tigers of Pantang release their self-titled 11th studio album. Dee Snider releases We Are the Ones, and Korn releases The Serenity of Suffering, which debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200. 1021 of 03, King Diamond releases The Puppet Master. 1021-92, Running Wild releases Pile of Skulls. 1021 of 90, Don Dokken releases his debut solo studio album Up From the Ashes. 1021-86, Wasp releases Inside the Electric Circus, which peaked at number 60 on the Billboard 200. And last but not least, 1021 of 88, Quiet Riot releases QR. So those were the historical releases from the 15th through the 21st.
It makes you wonder if Quiet Riot created the QR code. So.
They should have. If they didn't, they missed a golden opportunity.
Yeah, right. All right. So I guess we can jump into our top 10 metal songs.
Yeah.
The topic this week is Spirits. So
kind of keeping with Halloween.
Yeah.
Tried to.
Yeah. We'll probably do the same next week too. So
yeah, trying
to keep it flowing. So
the spirit of the season.
Yeah. There you go. So I guess I'll kick off here. I don't know how many doubles we will have off of this one. Actually, I was looking at some of the songs on here. I'm like, man, this is going to be kind of good because I don't think we'll have a whole lot. So
yeah, that'd be good.
Of course, it may be surprising. We said that before off of
that's true
stuff that we didn't think we'd have overlaps, and we had like 4. I'm like, what the hell?
I know.
That's crazy. Anyway, I'll kick off here. The first one that I picked, of course, is "Spirit Adrift," Right Into the Light from Enlightened in Eternity from 2020.
And the intro to this show.
There you go. So, can't get no better than that, I guess.
No, you can't.
The next one I took was "Nothing More," Turn It Up Like, Stand in the Fire, which is from the album Spirits that just came out a couple weeks ago. So
nice.
Then I took Death, Spirit Crusher from the Sound of Perseverance, 1998. Then I went with Bring Me the Horizon, the Happy Song from That's the Spirit in 2015. Then I went with Spirit Box, Holy Roller from Eternal Blue in 2021. Then I went with, I could have went with 2 songs off of Lamb of God, but I went with Ghost Walking from Resolution 2012. So if we have overlap, we can always throw the other one in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we sure can.
Then I went with Machine Head, Ghost Will Haunt My Bones from Bloodstone and Diamonds of 2014. Then I went with 10 Years, Waking Up the Ghost, Feeding the Wolves 2010. Then I went with Hollow Front, Apparition, Still Life 2018. No, I don't think I'm at 10 yet, but I'll just read all of the ones I have. I think I had 13. But then I had Silosis Apparitions from Edge of the Earth 2011. Then I had Death Angel Spirit from The Art of Dying 2004. And Judas Priest Spectre from Firepower 2018. And then Mastodon Spectre Light from The Hunter 2011. So that contribution to the spirit world.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually told where were we? I can't remember where we were going. We may have been coming back from the Slipknot concert, but I don't even I can't even remember what made me think about this, but I told Kayla, I was like, you know what? I've never heard that new album from Spirit Box. And she goes, what? I was like, I just haven't listened to it.
It's not bad.
I still haven't listened to it. To it.
It's not bad. It's got some good stuff on it. So
I still haven't listened to it. It's not that I don't want to. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, that kind of like blew her mind. It's like I haven't listened to Spirit Box yet. It's like I hurt her feelings or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of weird that, we do these top 10 lists and, like you had 13, I ended up with 16. We're not good at these, are we?
No. Well, so we overlap so much that we have to have extras to
I know.
So
it just kind of makes me laugh because, I mean, of course, it's a testament to just how much good music there is out there too at the same time.
True,
so.
Yeah.
All right, so it's actually it's actually a good thing that we usually end up having too many, quote unquote. All right, for my contribution here, leading off, I had Phantom Lord by Metallica from Kill 'Em All, 1982. I had Ghosts of War by Slayer off of South of Heaven from 1988. Then I had A Ghost in the Trenches from Sabaton off The Great War from 2019. I had Electric Phantoms from Bewitcher off Cursed Be Thy Kingdom from 2021. Then I had Phantom Force from Havoc off of their album V, which is 5 from 2020. Then I also had Ghost Will Haunt My Bones from Machine Head, Bloodstone and Diamonds of 14. And I also had Spectre from Judas Priest from Firepower 2018. Then I had Willing Spirit from Creator off of Endorama from 1999. Then I had Ghost Shaped People by Lamb of God off of the self-titled Lamb of God album from 2020. Then I actually discovered a couple of new bands this week doing some research for the show, which is never a bad thing, discovering new bands. And then my 10th song was the song Spirits from Asilex off of Ephemeros from 2020. And for those of you who don't know who Asilex is, and I didn't up until a couple of days ago, they are a thrash metal band from the Faroe Islands, of all places. Metal is worldwide.
Yep.
So that was my 10th. That was my 10th song. But the other 6 that I had, I had Spirit Horse of the Cherokee from Man of War off Triumph of Steel from 1992. I had Return of the Phantom Stranger from Rob Zombie off of Hellbilly Deluxe from 1998. I had Ghost Behind My Eyes from Ozzy Osbourne from Osmosis of 1995. Then another new band, new to me anyway. I had the song Spirits by a band called Asgard. Their album Outworld from 2013. And I'd have to look back, but I think if I remember correctly, Asgard, they're a thrash metal band from Italy. Don't hold me to that. I will double check that. But then I had Ghost of the Navigator from Iron Maiden off of Brave New World from 2000. And then I had the song Ghosts by the band Rage off of the album of the same name, Ghosts from 1999. So there we go.
I don't know if you caught, I put the playlist from last week's top 10 up there too. So
okay. So let's see. Well, you put there's 3 of them up there now. Which one are we?
Well, it's just mine. The other 2 is from Victor. So
okay, hang on a second. Hang on. Oh shit, yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. So there's the top 10 from last week.
Yeah, which was Wolves.
Wolves was last week. That was a good playlist too.
It was,
yeah.
And I actually added one to it midweek too. So I don't know.
Oh shit! There you go. I didn't see it. I have to check it out. So everyone who's listening, just in case you don't know, what I do with these once Jason and once we get them compiled and everything is I do put these up on the Facebook page that we have. We're pushing 450 members, which, as an aside, we do appreciate you guys. Yeah. If you join the Metalheads Unite Facebook group, you can listen to the playlist wherever. If you've got Spotify, you can listen to it wherever. But if you're a member of the Facebook group, when I compile the playlist and put it up at the Facebook group, I put a 24-hour link on there on the Facebook group where anybody who's a member of the group, they can add whatever songs they want to the playlist, and as long as it's in keeping with the theme. So with this week's theme being spirits, whether it's like ghosts or phantoms or apparitions or spirit, whatever, or like last week's was wolves, the link would be closed by now. But if you're a member of the group, once the playlist is compiled, if you're a member of the group and there's a song that you like that we missed, you can add that to the playlist. And then after that, anyone who listens to it, that song will be on there. So, so for anybody who is already a member, or for anybody who, may want to end up joining the group, we kind of got that going for us. So This so this on the screen right now, this like Jason said,
this is a little fan participation. So.
Yeah, which we do love. We absolutely love. And I'm still not 100% sure anyone has taken us up on that. I wish that the collaboration link was open for more than 24 hours, but that's kind of one of Spotify's things, so there's nothing I can do about it. So I kind of wish it was active for maybe like 36 or 72 hours or something like that, but there's nothing we can do about that. So as soon as we get it posted, there's 24 hours to where anyone can add their own songs to it. So awesome. So I can
Victor. If it's within the, like I said, within the topic, you can definitely add whatever you want. So
like I say, keep an eye open for when the new playlist gets added to the Facebook group, and then as soon as it's added, you got 24 hours. You can add whatever songs you want. So yeah, Victor, you absolutely can. I mean, we would love for everybody to add a song to it if they want to, so anyone who's in the group can do that. So absolutely. If you want to add Tigers of Pantang and Cruise, you absolutely can. Like I say, if there's one that we missed that you want on there, by all means.
If they got songs about spirits or wolves or
absolutely.
Throw it on there. So.
Yep. So this week's theme is spirits. The one on the screen, like Jason said, was last week's, which is wolves. So that one is closed now. But if you want to just listen to it, there's the link. If you want to listen to any of them, just search for Metalheads Unite. You'll find us. And then
plenty of them
there is, and then Victor, what are I'm assuming that these Spotify playlists are yours, like Jason said. Which ones are these that we're looking at right now, if you don't mind letting us know?
I think they were albums actually. So
okay, all right, that'd be fine too. So but that is the top 10 segment.
All right, we'll kick into album reviews. This week I took on the band The End at the Beginning. They are a band out of a metalcore band out of Bologna, Italy, and
nice.
They are not nothing baloney about them. I'll tell you that. So, their Bologna has a first and last name, suckles. So
that's right, it does.
We got Niccolo Bazzani on lead vocals, Lorenzo Tassi on guitars, and he does the clean vocals. Then we had Massimo Bontempi guitars, Alessandro Scarpetta on bass, and then Filippo Traversini on drums. I don't know what they're looking at. Jesus Christ. Very distracting. But anyway, this is the band's third album. It was
you got all sorts of shit going on there right now. Oh, that's awesome.
What the heck? All right. Well, I might have to do this a different way then, I guess.
I love it. We don't have our own studio yet, folks.
No, I'm actually trying to work on that. Hopefully by next year. So, anyway, the new album was 9 songs, 40 minutes, 43 seconds. So what I thought was cool, like kind of cool about this song, the very first track's called Throne, and it was kind of an introduction song, but it wasn't like all instrumental or anything like that. It had a little bit of vocals to it. You know what I mean? So, and it was 3 minutes and 31 seconds. So it wasn't like
that's a full song.
Yeah. So it's a full track. It's just not, it was more of an introduction to the album though. It wasn't like they didn't start singing 40 seconds in. It was a little ways into the song before he, and it was like a one like chorus line verse thing. So it wasn't like a complete song, but I did like the way they did that, because it wasn't just a 30-second, kind of intro musical to, which we've talked about that. It's kind of like, I don't mind the instrumental stuff if it's going to be, a minute and a half or longer, considered to be a track, but with 30 seconds is not a track to me, but
no.
That's just me. Like I said, that's our opinion.
It's me too. because I don't
we don't speak for everybody. So
yeah. Well, the peeve of it for us is that they count us as a track and it bloats the track list.
Yeah,
so it's just the misleading aspect of it. That's the
and especially like with this band, if it would have been 30 seconds and you only had 9 songs, it would be kind of like, fuck, I only got 8 songs really. So if it's a 15 song, like even with the 15 song stuff like Slipknot did with they had all that shit in it, it's just like, dude, you didn't really give us anything because you had all these. And that's one of the things I had a problem with Machine Head's new album. Yes, the introduction or to the next track, the little prelude to it or whatever, was good, but you had 3 of them, dude. Come on, and then plus you stuck 6 songs that we already knew on the fucking record. So we even though we had 15, 16 songs listed, you only really got 6 new ones. So so I mean, and that was the. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the album. But I just wished it would have been, not to get off of what I'm doing here. But anyway, in the end of the beginning, new album, Lightbringer, definitely right up the metalcore alley. The drummer in this band is phenomenal, dude. Like, I was listening to some of the drumming in here and was like, wow, that's fucking crazy. But there was like one song. Shit, I wish I could remember the name of it now, but it was a ballady type song, and I just don't think that. I guess it's kind of crazy. I just don't think that they fit very well for some reason. Like, I guess it didn't it didn't flow very well to me as far as like the way they tried to vocally present it. I guess.
Okay.
So it was almost like the rest, the metalcore voice come in trying to do the ballad when it should have been the clean vocals trying to do the ballad. So see what I'm saying. So that's what it felt like. The guy just, I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like horrible, but it just like, it was kind of like, it is what it is. But overall, I really did like the album. I think it was, like I said, very metalcore. I'm a big metalcore fan, so it all kind of went right in there with me. And then hopefully, I'll actually plan on reaching out to this band, so maybe we'll get around the globe to the Italian side. So
nice.
So
I'll be okay with that.
So overall, I'm gonna give this one 4 horns. I really, like I said, I really did enjoy it. So it's definitely gonna be on the loop in my playlist. I got a bunch of them liked already, the songs. So
I'll check it out too.
Yeah, so it's really good. So
yeah.
So before we get carried away, I just want to say there was a band called SAHG, SAHG. If you want to check out that album, it's called Born Demon. There's a song on there called House of Worship. I want you guys to check it out. And if you've ever heard Chevale's I Get It, you tell me that song does not sound just like that motherfucker. I was just like, wait a minute, what am I listening? It's like, because I thought my playlist just kind of like kept going. I said, damn, they just went into the Chevelle or something. And I looked and I said, no, this is still this SAHG band. I'm like, damn, that sounds just like I Get It. It's like so crazy. Just musically. I mean, of course, vocally it doesn't, but
yeah.
But musically, I'm just like, wow, this is unreal.
Nice. So they did an Avenged Sevenfold and made they did their own version of Sad But True.
Yes.
Which we're not hating on, by the way.
Well, no.
That, by the way.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I was like, wow, this is pretty wild. But
nice.
Whatever.
All right. Well, did you listen to anything else?
I listened to some stuff, but I mean, not work.
Bits and pieces.
Bits and pieces of stuff. So.
All right. Well, the album that I listened to this week, and like I say, it was only one because I did listen to bits and pieces of a couple things, and I did, like I say, after Victor's suggestion last week, I did listen to some of the South American bands. So I listened to, like I say, I listened to Contra Cara and stuff like that. So Metal Crucifier, I'm still working on. But as far as this week goes, I listened to the new album Blood In, Blood Out by Iron Allies. Iron Allies, they're basically a super group at this point, formed by Herman Frank and David Reese, who used to be in Accept. Mm-hmm. And I guess because Herman Frank actually had a solo album come out last year. I can't remember the name of it at this point, but I remember I reviewed that too. So it wasn't 100% my intention to kind of do another Herman Frank album, but when I saw that album title, it kind of caught my eye, and it wasn't until I started listening to it that I realized, what I had going on. Mm-hmm. So basically Herman Frank and David Reese, I guess they've kind of formally created a new band now, and this is their band, because Michael Pessin is actually the guitar player in this, and he actually played on Herman Frank's solo album. So I guess they kind of made it like official that it's a band now.
Right.
So this is their debut studio album. They are a heavy metal band formed in Hanover, Germany. But I guess that's just technically where Herman Frank is from. So I guess that's kind of how that goes. You've got Don Van Stavern on bass. You've got Francesco Jovino on drums, Herman Frank on guitar, Michael Pessin on guitar, and David Reese on vocals. This new album is 12 tracks long, 51 minutes and 50 seconds. So, but exactly. So, you get, but I mean, this one's pretty much, this is going to sound, it's going to sound like I'm kind of copping out on a review here, but this is kind of like your straightforward, pretty much traditional, what would kind of be the traditional definition of a heavy metal album. It's not like thrash metal, it's not metalcore, it's
right.
not
Just
speed
plain,
metal,
plain old heavy metal.
Yeah, just straightforward heavy metal. 12 really solid, well put together songs. Guitar structure is good, drum lines are good, vocals are great, solos are solid. If anything, this is going to sound weird. If anything, this album was too consistent, if that makes any sense. All of the songs, I'm not saying that all the songs sounded the same, because that's not the problem.
Right.
But if anything, there was nothing that really stood out.
Yeah, just made it unique.
Nothing was super duper, nothing was super unique, nothing stood out, but every song in and of itself was just really, really well put together. It was just, it's an album of 12 really solid songs, but there's nothing that, I don't think there's going to be anything like iconic, or earth shattering, nothing that you really haven't heard before,
Stick with what you know, right?
Right. But there's nothing, but in this case, there's nothing wrong with that. There was nothing wrong with that with Herman Frank's solo album. There's really nothing wrong with that. That except as a band, especially the way they are now, with Wolf Hoffman and Mark Tornillo, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Putting out quality music, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And this right here was just a good, I bobbed my head and I tapped my foot to every song. I mean, there was nothing that I felt like there was no song I could have done without. There wasn't anything like ballady in there. I mean, like, it's just an album that's got 12 solid heavy metal songs on it, and I can appreciate that. I really can. So I'm going to give this one like 3 out of 5. It's not it's like I say, it's not the greatest album I've ever heard, but it wasn't boring, which, again, there's nothing wrong with that. And not like I'm trying to, like I said, not like I'm trying to cop out on a review, but it was it was an album that I enjoyed. It sounded good. All the songs were put together well. So there you go. If you just want, like I say, if you just want a good heavy metal album, I would recommend it. Blood In, Blood Out by Iron Allies.
All right.
Yeah.
So what do we have to look forward to next week?
Man, I was looking ahead to next week's list here a little bit ago, and holy shit, there is a lot to read. I don't know how many albums are on here, but damn, this list almost seems like it never wants to end.
Might be one of the biggest ones we've.
I actually think it may be the longest release list that I've seen on here so far since we've gone to Heavy Music HQ. So for this coming Friday, October 28th, we leading off with Abyssic with Brought Forth in Iniquity. We have Anti-Pope with Rex Mundi. We have Anthropophagus with Origin. We have Ascends with Lost in Gravity. We have Bavaustrian Metal Brothers United with Fall into Oblivion. Behind Closed Doors with Cages and Helices. I don't know. Blacklist with Afterworld. Blasphemous Putrefaction with Festering Plagues. That is an EP. We have Bones with Vomit. We have Brant Bjork with We have Brant Bjork with Bougainvillea Suite. We have Brian with the Cataclysmic Engine. Burn the Sun with Le Wa Soleil. We have Buzzherd and Pale Horseman with a split album. We have Chaoist with Annual, Null maybe. That is an EP. We have Chrome Ghost with House of Falling Ash. Clamorous with Opus Limbonica. Culto with Of the Sun. Cult of the Fox with Blood Omens. Dark Throne with Astral Fortress. Dead Cross with 2. Death Siege with Throne of Heresy. Defleshed with Grind Over Matter. Deicide with Crucifixion, the early years. Despised Icon with Deter, that is an EP. Devil's Witches with In All Her Forms. Divinial Verdict with Ash Blind. Diggeth with 0 Hour in Doomtown. Dimmu Borgir with Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia, that is a re-release. We have Dr. Acula with a self-titled album. Excessus with A Synapse. Eyes of Tomorrow and Perfect Sky with Dogs of Faith and Demolition, that is a split album. We have Feytooth with Remnants of the Vessel. Fall of Seraphs with From Dust to Creation. This one kind of confuses me because I haven't heard anything about this. We have Fear Factory with Recoded. Fear Factory got a new album coming out? I don't think so. Do they?
I mean,
I don't know.
It sounds like it may be like a redone,
like a remaster or something. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look.
I think that's That's what it sounds
like. May have to because I have not heard that because I thought that the new album was getting pushed back and then the new singer was going to be announced then. So because they changed labels or something.
Yeah, it's
like
actually
I don't know what is going on with that.
They said it's actually remixes from the Aggression Continuum album. So.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay,
yeah.
Then we have Fit for a King with The Hell We Create, Flying Disc with In the Heart of the City, that is an EP. We have For Lesson with Black Terrain, The Gasolines with Death or Eternal Glory. We have Gehenna with Brilliant Loud Overlords of Destruction, that is a re-release. We have Godzilla in the Kitchen with Exodus, Golgotha with Mors Diligentis, Gorotica with Morbid Menagerie, Gotho with Mind Bowling, Ground with Habitual Self-Abuse, Hell Theater with Sakabadora, Hiss from the Moat with The Way Out of Hell, Hoaxed with Two Shadows, Hostage with Memento Mori, The Hunna with a self-titled album, Inner Urge with Consume and Waste, Ironstone with The Place I Cannot Find, that is an EP, Jesters of Destiny with Distorting Everything, Joe Lynn Turner with Belly of the Beast, Yordfast with Av Stuffed. We have Kenel Kelput with Telorang. We have KZRN with Will You Survive, Last Breath with Vendetta, Light Lorn with These Nameless Worlds, that is an EP. We have Manta with Evoke, Metallion with Beyond the Wall, Michael Borman's Jaded Head with Power to Win, Mind Ahead with 6119 Part 1, Morbific with Squirm Beyond the Mortal Realm, Morbicon with Of Mournful Twilight, Mothman and the Thunderbirds and World Eaters with Mothman and the Thunderbirds versus World Eaters, a split EP. We have Mulciber with Misery of One, Monroe's Thunder with The Black Watch, Mysteria Mystica Eterna with the Temple of Eosphoros, Necromutilator with Oath of Abhorrence, Near Dusk with Through the Cosmic Fog, Noctem with Credo Certe Necras, Nocturnus with Unsegan, Nostromo with Bucephale, Obsidious with Iconic, October Ends with Phases, Onward with Of Epic and Inferno, Patrick Jansen with Name Changer, Polyphia with Remember That You Will Die, Project Pain with Faster Disaster, Psionic Madness with Rotting Dominion, Psychonaut with Violate Consensus Reality, Royal Hunt with Dystopia Part 2, Sphere vs. Zeker with Death is the Desired Ending, Shape of Water with Amor Fati, Secrecy with Salvation Through Tyranny, Silver Phantom with Crimson Cabaret, Slaughter the Giant with Depravity, Snake Charmer with Anthology, Sodom with 40 Years at War, The Greatest Hell of Sodom, Soraya with Bloom, Spell with Tragic Magic, Sugar Horse with Waterloo Teeth, that is an EP. We have Sokondo with Altered Ego, Teeth with 575, that is an EP. We have Famuz with Sons of the Occult, Them with Fear City, Theotoxin with Fragment and Totenru, Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 re-releases from Therion, Gothic Kabbalah, Lemuria, Leviathan 2, Secret of the Runes, and Sirius B. We have Thought Crime with Digital Drift, Throwing Bricks with The Burden, Tiamat et Tremor with Realm of Ashes, Toxic Reasons with Bullets for You. That's a re-release. Oh, shit. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 re-releases from Toxic Reasons. Bullets for You, God Bless America, In the House of God, Kill by Remote Control, No Peace in Our Time, and Within These Walls. Then we have Triskelion with Downfall, Universally Estranged with Dimensions, Vicarin with Infernum, various artists, Bound for Hell on the Sunset Strip box set. We have Violence with Eternal Nightmare, that is a re-release. Then we have Vuara, which I cannot even read this because it's in Russian. So I don't know if you can see that right there. It's this one right here, right there. I don't know what the hell that is, but it's in Russian.
Yeah, I'm following along with you on the site, and I don't know what it is either.
Yeah, any of our Russian friends, you guys will know what that album is called, but there it is. Then we have Whims with PM226, Who on Earth with Blame, and Worm with Blue Nothing. That is an EP. So that, I think, that may be, I'm pretty sure that was probably the longest list we've had so far. So definitely
there's a lot of re-releases there, though. So
that's true.
That's going to cut it down some. So.
That's true, but that is still a pretty damn long list.
It is, yeah. It's still a long list, yes.
So yeah, no shortage of stuff to choose from for the 28th. So there you go.
All right. Well, I guess that'll put a bow on this one. So we'll say something real quick that we do have in the works another interview set up. As of right now, it looks like it's going to be November 5th, but I'm not sure if it's concreted in yet. Where they're kind of they're saying that's what it looks like best for them. So hopefully that's going to work out. So.
Yeah, and if that happens, November 5th is a Friday. So we will, if that ends up being the case, we will do what we did when Vinny Carrion from Ashes Rage came on. We'll have a Friday night interview, Saturday show. So
yeah. Is that what it said? I have to look at the email again. Maybe it was the 6th. I don't remember.
No, it was the 5th.
Was it?
Yeah, it was the 5th.
Okay,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
I thought it was still a Saturday. So
yeah, no. Maybe I am wrong. Hold on, shit. Oh, fuck, the 5th is a goddamn Saturday. It would help if I learned to read a calendar. Shit, I'm sorry.
I was like, well, wait a minute. Maybe I told them the wrong date.
Nope, that's my bad.
Yeah, because they said they practiced on Saturday anyway, so it would kind of work out. They would just,
there we go.
They would just talk to us and then go practice. So
yeah, that is my bad. My bad.
Yeah, so hopefully that all works out. We will let you guys know who and all that stuff as soon as we know for sure that it's going to be.
And I am working. I don't want to give away the band, but I am working very, very hard to get another band on the show that we've been working on for a while. And I know, Jason, I'm sure you saw it, but my email got blocked, and I have no idea why. Because it was the email address that was on the website, so I don't know why.
Did you just hit them up on Instagram or?
I did send them a message on Instagram, but they haven't responded yet. So I'm not exactly sure.
They were at a show or something though, or somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I know that
videos. So
I know they've been busy, so I'm going to be a little more patient with the Instagram. But I don't know what happened with the email because I sent the email as far as I know to the person that they told us to send an email to. I don't know what the deal is with that. So so there's a band there's another band that I'm working on, and then of course there are bands who are at the festival that we reached out to, and then there are bands that we this is the most irons we've had in the fire at any one time.
You're right. It's a lot. So
yeah,
like I said, this band's got they actually took the first date out of the list. So we'll have to work around that date right now. So.
Yeah, so the end of this year or the beginning of 23 could be quite busy, which I am not going to argue with at all. So I'm actually quite looking forward to it. And Victor, to answer your question, I don't know if there's any. I don't think we're going to be able to get to Atlanta for any shows live. I don't think my work schedule and especially my finances are going to allow me to get down to Atlanta. So
it's kind of hard this time of year. It's kind of hard to do a lot because I mean, you got holiday seasons coming up. So it's a little bit difficult to do a lot of those things.
Yeah.
Like we already got Machine Head lined up in December. So
yeah.
So that's
so not that we're definitely not averse to going on a road trip. I mean, we went to Atlanta to see Metallica, so we're not averse to going on a road trip.
And then we may be going to that trio of territory. Yeah, I'm not real sure yet. So Snowblind Festival.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm
so you
I'm festivaled out this year, dude. Just seriously.
Victor, you may have to cover that one for us, and what we may have to do is we may have to share your live stream because I know that you because for those of you guys that don't know, our friend Victor here, he's got his own groups called Rockin' Heavy. So if you guys want to follow him over on Facebook, he live streams a lot of his shows on Rockin' Heavy. So what we may have to do is we may have to kind of share your live stream here at Metalheads Unite. So you may have to cover that one for us, Victor.
November 12th at the Masquerade. Yeah.
Oh, the Masquerade. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, nice.
And then also, since we talked about the glam and stuff, if you guys want to check out some peeps that know a lot about that era of music, you can check out our friends Aaron Camaro and Chris over at Decibel Geek on Friday nights.
They definitely got you covered there.
Yeah, they definitely know their stuff about that area. So yep. So I guess we will wrap this bad boy up for this week. Oh yeah, then talk about that as well.
Yep. So. Yeah, before we go, just want to let everybody know that where all you can find us. And of course I have put the link up on the screen to the fundraiser, which is still ongoing. So either copy and paste the link right there. You guys can search on GoFundMe.com for Metalheads Unite. You'll find us there. As far as the show goes, you guys can catch us on VOPUSARadio.com. You can catch us on the VOP USA Radio app at Google Play or the App Store over there on Apple. We've got the YouTube channel. We've got Twitter. We've got Instagram. Twitch. Twitch. We still have a dormant as of right now TikTok. I know. I keep talking. I know. I keep talking. I'm going to do a TikTok, but I haven't. Myrna, have a great weekend. Thank you for checking out the show. We appreciate you very much. But, you can catch us, and like we said, we've got the Facebook group. Catch us over there. Send us a message request. But there's plenty of places. Instagram. That there's plenty of places you guys can find us.
All right. And then, of course, radio.co is where they're every week. So that's one of our main contributing platforms there. So
yes. Thank you to everybody who listens on radio.co.
We love you too, Myrna.
Love you too, Myrna.
Yeah. Thanks for Victor and Myrna. And
yes. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody.
And that being said, I guess we will see you guys right back here next week for more new news. And
that's right. All of our members, keep your eyes open for that new playlist. Anybody who wants to contribute, it'll be there. If nothing else, it'll be there by Monday.
Yeah, hopefully.
So
all right, we'll see you guys right back here next week. Until then, you can keep those devil horns held high and jump in that pit anytime you can. See you guys next week.
Thank you guys. Have a great week.